Warning, the thoughts and opinions expressed on the show are just that, our personal thoughts and opinions. While we do our best to discuss topics responsibly, some of the information shared is based on allegations, reports, or speculation and may not be fully factual. We encourage our listeners to do their own research and form their own conclusions. This podcast is for entertainment and informational purposes only, and nothing discussed here should be taken as legal, professional, or definitive advice. Fuckers.
He did drugs. The straw that broke the camel's back was her finding cocaine in the drawers that had my baby clothes.
Dun dun dun, Mikhail has a second family. If you are constantly testing your partner to see how much you care, you don't trust them.
Absolutely.
So I've dated women in the past that no matter what, they always put their phone face down. And I never went through their phone, but I always asked in my head why. Wait, does it matter at all who they cheated on you with?
Well, that's a hall pass.
Who's on your list?
I literally just
I don't know
set
what
my
you
dad
were
up to follow us on YouTube.
Okay, hold on. One more question while we're on the topic of cheating. Does it count if it's with a robot?
But I have a question. Okay, so in your serious relationships, do your girlfriends have the password to your phone?
And welcome back, everybody, to the You Don't Say That podcast, the show where we discuss stories about culture, relationships, and life struggles, sometimes current events. We provide real talk about relatable advice and humor. We encourage you to connect with us directly by submitting your questions, stories, comments, which we may feature on the show today. I think we have enough to go over that. I don't think we're going to need any, questions to be submitted.
Yeah. Earthquakes, fairy dust,
Coachella,
transgenders.
all the fun stuff.
Jesus.
Transgenders.
You're so crazy.
No, I'm joking.
You got another story?
No, not another.
Oh, dang.
I never had one to begin with.
Oh, no, Adrian.
That was Adrian.
Sorry. You can listen to our episodes on Spotify, Apple Music. We're also on Amazon Music, iHeartRadio. And if you want to watch the episodes, you can watch us on Spotify and YouTube. And thank you to everybody that has been tuning in. We've been getting a lot of love and support, especially on our last episode. That was a very emotional episode, but it was I think it was very important to record and talk about, even though it was definitely hard, especially for me. We also have an update, but before I get into my update, I want to introduce someone new to the table. You guys might not have seen her yet. Her name is Daniela. She is Eddie's wife. Eddie was here, 2 episodes ago now?
2 episodes ago.
And she's joining us today. Adrian won't be here, so warm welcome to Daniela. Thank you for showing up today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, definitely. You've been an awesome supporter for us, giving us, at least for sure me, awesome feedback on what you've heard. What are your thoughts so far? Just kind of listen. You know us for however long before any of us started like messing around on any of this. Like, what do you think? Just kind of seeing our silly reels or our episodes so far.
I think the more episodes I watch, the realer it gets, and the more you guys get
Oh God.
out there and get vulnerable. And I think that's what this is about, right?
Yeah.
Having those hard conversations.
Yeah. You're definitely someone that when we do all get together with you and Eddie, we talk about deep stuff sometimes. So I think it's like perfect that you're someone that can come on and kind of help, just like how awesome Eddie was giving me that kind of shoulder, that those uncomfortable faces when I was crying. I don't know if you saw that, but
I saw it. He was
I'm sure. You also give some like awesome advice and kind of words of wisdom for things like that. So I don't know if it's going to be as heavy today.
No pressure.
Yeah, Eddie's been a superstar. He's been an all-star. But I don't think it'll be as heavy this episode, but I still got some pretty awesome updates on what's been going on with me personally in regards to the whole father situation. So I can't wait to get into that. And
It has been a wild ride.
yeah, it has been. I think or should I just get into it now? Should I just get into mine first?
Yeah.
Give us the update.
Yeah.
You told me some crazy stuff when we went to the Padre game.
Yeah, well, hold on. Before I even get into that, we went to a fucking Padre game.
Oh, do you remember that?
I do remember.
Hey. I remember most of it.
Oh my God, you guys.
I remember being at a Padre game. I remember roaming.
We didn't even go to see our
about it.
seats.
That's
We
all I remember.
didn't go to our seats once.
Literally.
Yeah.
We didn't go to our seats at all.
Mikhail was on a mission, and I was not going to let my brother go into those waters
What
alone.
mission did I have?
You,
Like,
dude,
Took
you
it as
you were
hammered
you were
as
going.
possible.
You
you know
were
what?
going.
I had a lot. I have a lot of stuff going on. So
I got a lot of shit going on in my life right
that
now.
just felt.
Cue the picture.
Yeah, that just felt very like.
I
don't
want to know
know.
what that Windex looking drink was.
Oh God, it
It
was.
tasted like hypnotic. It was kind of gross.
Yeah, it was kind of gross.
It tasted like hip.
And it was like 40 bucks.
It didn't look like it was gross when you guys were drinking it. By
That's
the
how
way.
drunk we were, and the amount of people that reached out to me, like making sure I wasn't drinking Windex. Thank you guys.
Oh my God.
The guy that
No.
recommended it.
Yeah. It was
terrible.
If I remember right, this was like a Puerto Rican themed
Yeah.
restaurant.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it was like a lot of whatever Bad Bunny or whatever, but for whatever reason, apparently they like to drink Windex in Puerto Rico. I don't know, but that's what this guy was like highly
So many
recommending.
questions. Is that bottle reusable? Do multiple people put it in their mouth?
Prob-
They had
Probably.
to,
That's
What about all the What about all the
I don't want to think
Well,
about that.
it was,
Microplastics.
I'm assuming they wash it. First of all, I'm pretty sure it was like a brand new restaurant. Like I'm pretty sure that it just opened.
Yeah.
Like they were trying so hard to get us in from the street, which wasn't that hard because we were so drunk. And they tried to put us right in the front. Like
Yeah.
right inside
Yeah.
the door, and we were like, "Can we sit somewhere else?" And thank God, because then,
Shit got wild.
oh God,
That place
yeah,
got popping though.
Yeah, it did.
They
It
sat
did.
us. They sat us in the back, and when they sat us in the back, we were the only ones back there.
I
at
felt
the
like we
time.
were the only ones popping. I felt like
Oh,
we were
dude, it was wild. I didn't realize that place was a little. It was a little pricey.
Was it?
Well, it doesn't help that I left an $80 tip, but it was
Oh
pretty
my
pricey.
God.
Jesus.
Yeah, it
You
was-
and your tips.
Is that a thing? You like
Yeah, remember the server from
Not anymore.
Mexico?
Wait, did you leave a tip?
Which day?
The,
Yeah, I left
the
$80
last
tip.
day.
I don't remember.
That-
Tipping.
He
Our
kept
bill was
tipping
$300.
him, so he kept
really?
bringing us shots.
Was it?
I'm not even joking.
Okay, I
Oh,
remember. I
shit.
remember the keep running the
It's his fault.
Are you talking about the guy that was grinding on the
Yep.
pole?
Caesar.
It's your
That was
fault.
my boy.
Caesar. Your boy
Cesar.
Caesar. Bro.
I'm pretty sure he was on drugs, and then
And
I
I'm
think
pretty sure you were paying his drugs.
I
And
think
you guys
I
even
think I
made the
was.
motion for drugs.
Did
you
it-
guys
I think,
made the motion.
Wait,
like-
did he roofie us? I think we got roofied.
Oh, I have never been. that
No,
blacked
you
out in my
guys.
life.
Oh my gosh.
I had the Exorcist flying out of my
The
mouth.
Windex thing, we weren't just, you guys started spraying it in your mouth, and then I took the lid off, so we weren't spraying anymore. They were just straight drinking it. And
Yeah.
then he was just ordering stuff.
That's why it
and-
was so expensive.
And
of stuff?
the waiter comes back and is like, "Oh, here's your drink or whatever," and he's like, "What the fuck is this?" And I'm like, "Dude, you don't even remember ordering it?" Like,
Yeah,
you
at one point we had there was 4 of us at the table, and I think there was like 8 drinks at one point.
Yeah.
We finished them.
You know what's crazy?
We're not gonna waste our money.
in Spanish.
Yeah,
Pretty crazy.
You what?
I ordered all this in Spanish.
Nuh-uh.
he busted
Yeah.
it out. Oh yeah.
So from that restaurant, that Puerto Rican restaurant, where
Oh, yeah.
I drank a whole lot of Windex, way more Windex than I should have.
You had a Windex, you had a
I
Warritos, you
ordered
had
the
a.
Windex.
You guys,
I could have swore it was like a shared thing, right?
it
He
was,
recommended
but I
it for
didn't.
us to share at the
Okay,
table.
that's what I remember. Okay.
And he kept asking, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" And you kept saying, "Yeah,
Kyle
yeah,
was
yeah,
busting out the Spanish. Yeah, he was like,
yeah,
Yeah. See.
Sí, otra.
yeah." And then I
remember that.
ordered tacos. They were carnitas tacos, and they were probably like this big, like the tiniest tacos, and it
Oh.
was 4 of them for $18.
Can't trust
Yeah.
Puerto Rican spots, dude.
Shut the fuck up.
Just can't.
What we do
Maybe
after
I'm
that
Puerto
though?
Rican. Maybe that's why.
That they're tiny.
They were tiny.
Then we went to Prohibition.
And then we made our way to a speakeasy
Oh
prohibition
my
bar.
God.
That was fun.
And you guys got old fashions.
Yeah, a bunch of old fashions just kept popping up. I don't know if that was the only drink on tap or something.
That's all. You just kept ordering them.
Oh, I kept ordering.
Yes.
No,
crazy.
he would
There's no
never.
way.
That's all you.
There's no
Or,
way.
or
You ordered at the
Vernie.
bar. Yeah, I was like, what you feeling? He's like, oh, let's get old fashioned. I feel like old fashioned right
Damn,
now. I was like, I'm rolling with you.
already. I was a different person at that point.
Right. No, and we had to pay a cover to get into Prohibition.
Yeah.
Did we really?
Yeah, to see the band that we watched one song. That place is too claustrophobic for me.
Is it?
It's so
It's like
small.
a little
packed.
underground
Yes.
basement. little
Yeah.
Low
thing.
ceilings.
And I don't like the if there's a fire, how fast am I gonna get out of here kind of thing? Like I don't like that.
That's anxiety.
This is
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure. That's my intrusive thoughts. But
just as fast as the next.
It's
person. You
just-
can get faster than them.
I
That's it.
also just don't like being like in a small confined space. Like remember in Mexico?
Nope.
I like
No, I mean I don't like it either.
yeah, no, yeah. No, remember in Mexico I was like I can't sit in the back and I like had to move up in the front.
What was this
Oh,
one?
In
no,
the
I still
middle.
don't remember that.
When we were well, it was right when we got off the
Was this
airplane.
the bus?
When
Yeah.
we were taken
shuttle,
when
yeah,
we were
yeah.
taken to the freaking timeshare
Yeah.
that somebody
Yeah.
No, that was my husband's fault.
yeah, what the hell, man?
We gotta
He
listen
said
to
we
Daniela.
don't have anything better to
He's
do.
like, "Do you guys want to
Yeah.
do it?" And I was like, "I do not want to do it."
I said no too.
Yeah.
I was like, they're gonna waste our time. We're gonna say no.
I think we all said no, but
We
he was
got
like,
a lot of
okay.
drinks though.
Yeah,
They
well,
were shitty.
who cares? Yeah.
No, you know, I remember the shot. The shot was really bad.
the whole
That's what I
point.
remember was
The
that.
whole point of going
We didn't
early.
get a lot of drinks.
No, we didn't.
They were serving us drinks when we were waiting to be picked up. Those whatever those
It was in those like little
margarita things were.
cups.
Oh well, yeah, but if you have a lot of little cups, it adds up.
When you're having fun, everything's.
I
a
think
lot
I
Or
had
they
six
were,
cups.
they were
bigger
giving us
and-
they were giving us
just
shots of
landed?
straight tequila, weren't
Yeah.
they?
It was
Yeah,
bad
It was
tequila.
yeah,
It was
no.
bad tequila.
No, it was terrible, and no chaser. It was straight raw dogged, warm.
What
like
did we get out of it? Was there something that we got at the end of
Nothing.
it? We didn't
We
get
got
nothing.
were
breakfast that was worse than our hotel's breakfast,
Jesus.
and we got
We got fed.
the taxi cab from our hotel to back to the airport for
Yeah.
free, which might have been
$5.
500 pesos.
Oh god. Which would have been what, like 5?
We ended up staying an extra day too.
I mean, we're missing one thing. We also
Well-
got memories.
Yeah, come on, guys.
that was
Not
a
the
great
last
time.
day.
In that trip, in that
Yeah. No, but also we the
What
God
is it?
damn it. I was gonna say
That-
something.
that was
I
the
remember
best
that
part.
too. Yeah.
I know.
It's all right. It's the roofies.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. They're coming back.
Sorry.
Yeah, roofies.
The
coming back.
roofies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody got roofied. Everybody was barfing.
It was terrible.
I didn't throw up.
He did. He threw up all over the fucking hotel room
It
floor.
was terrible,
I kinda
and the
threw up.
ride to the
and it
I
was
didn't kind of throw up at all.
from the strawberry margaritas. He threw up all over the place, and it was all red.
Ojo rojo.
and the ride back in the small little
That was
taxi, all
horrible.
of us in those bumpy
That was
streets.
Oh, I was
horrible.
golden
I
on the ride
really
back.
thought I was gonna throw
I
up,
thought I was gonna die.
I was good on the ride back.
and I have to say that's the last time I had drank since then. I haven't had a drink.
Damn, that's like almost what?
Jeez.
Almost 2 years ago.
Almost. Yeah.
That's trauma right there. That's some real trauma.
Yeah.
We gotta go back to Mexico to redeem ourselves.
No, I'm good. I'll watch you guys.
No, we should go to Mexico City though.
We should.
That sounds good. I want to eat my way through Mexico City.
We need a whole week.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. Because you need a day to like get like acclimated. to
No,
the-
you just have to remember that anywhere you go, it's like a 2-hour traffic ride. So
Jeez.
even though places might be close, it's just like an all-day transportation thing.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And I don't know if we took what, an adult only, me and
True.
you,
Yeah.
Daniela, Eddie, you and Eddie, and then you and unnamed person. We all went to Mexico, had a blast, and
On the last day.
yeah. Well, yeah, on the last day we all got trashed, but Daniela's our tour guide, our expert,
She was our
I'm just
our-
the only one that
our real
speaks
Mexican,
Spanish.
our real Mexican,
Our liaison.
Yeah.
She's our local real Mexican.
Yeah.
yeah, she was a real Mexican.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, for sure. So if we do another one, we gotta have you back.
Right.
Just- we'll talk offline. Don't worry
Yeah.
about it. Don't worry about it. We'll
I got some. I got a video of us at Trailer Park After Dark doing some crazy dances. This one over here.
last weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing her white girl dance.
You're doing some white
So
girl dancing?
we went to Prohibition and then we left Prohibition and we went to Trailer Park After Dark and you two proceeded to order another set of old fashions.
I don't know how that happened.
That was on you guys.
I don't remember that.
That was on you guys.
They disappeared.
And I went up to the bar first and I got you a Modelo. I was like, all right, we need to be slowing down here. Like
Thanks.
and then after we were drinking that, you guys finished whatever drinks that you guys got and then went to the bar yourselves and ordered your old fashions. Came
do
back.
remember that.
Me
Music was popping there.
me and were still drinking the drink that we had.
Yeah.
And yeah, you guys were, and me and at each other were like, it's time to go.
Right.
The
It was
next
a great night. It was
morning,
great. It was
the
great.
next morning, he's like, "What time did we get home?" And I was like,
It was 9.
"Babe," I was like, "Babe, it was like 10:30, 10:45." And he's like, "No way, that was like 3 a.m. activities." And I was like, "No, that was
Wait,
all
we
you."
really got back that early?
Yes.
I thought it was 3 a.m. activities.
No.
Oh, geez.
We had a full night's of sleep.
That's how you know we're old.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we also started.
Efficient. That was
We
efficient.
also started at what, 5 o'clock?
Yeah.
So
Well, we had 3 drinks before the Uber even picked us up.
at least, yeah. He even had more because
Yeah.
he finished my Humex before we left, and then he finished, and then he had an extra when we were walking downtown.
I was on a mission.
Yeah, clearly,
That's it.
yeah.
That's all I got.
I mean,
But-
you mission accomplished.
Yeah.
It was fun.
And then aside from that, this week, the earthquake, right? We all had that fun. I know I was at work and I thought someone was shaking my table. I was on lunch. And I look back and no one's fucking there. And all I hear is people in the trailers. They're just like, get everybody out of the building. And I was just over here with my sandwich. I'm just like, what the fuck are we doing? This is just a little ass earthquake. And they were just like, get everybody out now. And it was just me. And we had a small crew, it was like 3 of us. And we're like, well, we're all accounted for. I guess we're going to wait right here for a little bit. And then they're like, no, we need you all the way over there so you guys can all... We're standing right next to the fucking building. Like, I don't know why we're even standing next to the building. We need to evacuate if we're afraid it's going to collapse or something. But we did that, killed about an hour at a time, which was
Nice.
awesome, and then went back to work like nothing. Yeah, it was great.
What about that video that went viral about those elephants? Did you see it?
Oh, that was
No.
cool.
Oh, that
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
sweet.
What was that?
The
It was pretty cool.
the mother elephants made like a circle to protect the baby.
Where was this? In San Diego Zoo?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
shoot.
it's like an instinctual thing they do that whenever so they feel vibrations through their feet.
Yeah.
And usually it could be earthquakes, but usually it's predators that are like trying to run up on them and attack them like a lion. You could feel lions. You know, lions are massive.
Yeah.
So all the elephants, it's just an instinctual thing they do where whoever the smallest elephant is, they put them in the center and they all back up. So they all like put their rears in to protect the youngest elephant, and they're all like on defense mode.
Wow.
And they did this, and this video went viral. Everybody was talking
Can't
about
believe I
it.
missed that.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was adorable.
Where were all you guys at?
Meanwhile,
during
we're
this?
over here like there's no instincts with humans. We're just like people are like, oh, I almost shit my pants. What do I do? Yeah, what do I do? I had somebody at work tell me that their grandmother was outside walking their kid, and when the earthquake happened, she freaked out and ran inside the house.
And left the kid outside?
No, took the kid, but I'm like, that's you're already outside. You're in the safe zone. You don't run into your house, but they didn't know. Like they just freaked out and ran inside the house.
Perfect.
So
So I was working. My desk is against the wall, and so it like started to shake. And I had Marilena was at home with me, so I had my headphones on because she was watching TV. And it took me a couple seconds to realize what was happening. So my instinct as a mom was to make sure she was okay. So I took off my headphones and I looked over at her and asked her if she was okay. But she was on her dad's recliner, so it was just reclining.
Did
so
she-
she had like
didn't
no
even
idea
realize?
what
She fell
happened
asleep.
until like she looked at me, and then I was like, "It's okay. It's just an earthquake. We're good."
Yeah.
And then we just kind of carried on with life.
That's
Like
awesome.
I didn't even get up from my desk.
Just looking at all right, you're good. You didn't even notice. No.
I was here at home. I was working also, but my phone went off. I like a half a second right before I started feeling it. So as I'm looking at it, I could see earthquake, and then I'm like, oh, like it starts like, and my plant in my window was fucking swinging.
that's crazy.
Yeah, but I got up. I remembered to get up and get in the door frame, so
Damn.
I did that. Brace myself in the doorway.
You did all that?
Well, I mean, it was like it went
was
on
like-
for a pretty good amount of time.
My
yeah,
notification didn't come until after the earthquake.
Same.
really. Yeah.
I didn't feel it at all.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was running and I saw the alert and I just thought to myself, we talked about this before the podcast started, but I don't know why. I just thought that when you see an alert for an earthquake, it means you have 5 or 10 minutes to prepare for the earthquake. So I was running, I was in the middle of running and I'm like, well, I only have 1 more mile. I could probably finish this mile in like 10 minutes. And so I just finished running. And then when I got done running, I started calling like my family.
He's like holding onto his car.
I was worried. No, I was running around Lake Miramar, and I was worried that the trees were going to fall down. So then what I would do is when I was running, every time I'd approach a large tree, I'd just kind of speed up a little bit, and then I'd slow down, speed up a little bit to like try to dodge the tree. Like if we're playing like
'Cause it was
Frogger
gonna
with
fall
trees, yeah.
directly in.
God.
And I'm looking in the lake trying to look for ripples. The water's not moving at all. I get done running. I call my mom first, and I'm like, "Are you okay?" She's like, "Yeah." I was outside when it happened. There was guys inside that started screaming, like that she works with. And then I'm like, "Okay, but you're good." She's like, "Yeah, I'm good." And she's all, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I was running. I didn't feel it." And I'm all, I thought the earthquake was still gonna happen. It had already happened. Apparently,
You're like, get
it
ready.
lasted
It's
a couple
gonna be here any
seconds.
minute.
Yeah, I thought I had time to finish my mile, and so it already happened, but I didn't feel it at all.
That's funny.
Jesus.
Somebody at work also told me that they had a relative that supposedly, I don't know if they were just saying this to be funny, that stopped, drop, and rolled.
They did it?
Yeah, and I'm like, that's for fires,
I
not
was
for
about to-
earthquakes.
I was about to say, why?
Yeah. The boys' teacher was like, "Oh, they were out on the playground. We didn't even
They
feel
didn't
it."
feel it, yeah.
I'd say besides that, the next biggest thing that I saw like all over social media this past week was Coachella. I don't know if you guys
That
saw
looked pretty
or-
epic
or
this year.
follow that.
Yeah. Lady Gaga looked really cool
No,
with her.
those concerts look pretty cool. There's just
Right.
no way in hell I'd ever like pay to go.
Oh,
and do
no.
all that. Like,
How
have
much
you-
are they now?
They're
Thousands.
I can get an.
I
exact-
read a statistic that said like
The tickets are
more
thousands?
than half of those people
Jeez.
put on like a
60%.
pay
60%.
plan. 60% of people
Finance.
finance their tickets.
And it's usually like younger kids, right?
Yeah.
Like
in their
Usually,
20s, like
But like you're paying that much to piss in porta potties. Like the food is like
unless
through
you
the
unless
roof.
unless you
Like,
get a
expensive.
hotel, but the hotel is crazy expensive and like driving is expensive. Yeah. The whole thing is just money everywhere, money. But
is it really the concerts though, or is it just the experience of like being there
think
and
it's-
saying I went to
Oh,
Coachella?
I think it's
Oh,
both.
yeah. I mean, it's
It's
a
both.
multi-day festival of just concerts
They're
and
kind of spread out right across this
Right.
giant field, and they have big ass tents. And over here
Mm-hmm.
you might have Lady Gaga. Over here you might have Travis Scott. Over here you might have Missy Elliott or
Right.
whatever other like
some
Green
techno
Day came back
thing,
or
some
shit.
Green Day did. Yeah.
So,
So,
like-
I mean, it's like
I mean,
all,
it sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
Something I would definitely like to experience if it wasn't gonna, you know.
Arm and a leg.
Right.
From what I see, you can get it ranges from like $300 to like $10,000 depending if you want
Jeez.
like a luxury tent type experience
Yeah,
thing,
it's
which is literally a
crazy.
tent. It is just a tent, and there's like a carpet on the floor, but you're just
Is that
kinda
per person or
camping out
however
there
many people you
for
fit in the tent?
Yeah.
I bet you big name celebrities don't even pay to go there. They
Nah,
get
yeah.
paid to go there.
Because I
Yeah.
know, like, I'm sure the
Like that are not
living-
performing, that are just attending.
right. I'm sure like those hotels and Airbnbs in the area are stupid expensive. I'm sure. So I'm sure that's what they're
well,
doing.
and it's out in the
right.
middle of the desert. That's like when they make all their money. Is that week? It's Coachella's
2
2
weeks
weekends.
now?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
2 weeks. Yeah.
Imagine a massive earthquake hits during Coachella, and the ground opens up and just
Well,
people fall
it's
in.
like cell
That's
service
anxiety.
is really bad.
That'd be wild. That happens with big earthquakes.
They have a
Right.
button that says like that's anxiety. Right
Cell
Oh,
service is really bad out there because it's in the desert, first of all.
Yeah.
But then, second of all, everybody's on their phones
Yeah.
and shit. So it's hard to like get calls out or
And that's
anything.
another thing. Like you paid so much money, put your phone down, watch the
Right.
show.
Yeah.
Right. Well, a lot of it is the content creation
Yeah.
people that are out. They need to get their
Right.
photo of
Right.
whatever building or whatever show that they're there, kind of thing, and their outfit or whatever. like,
Right.
that's part of the.
That's another thing.
The
Those
thing.
outfits, people go crazy.
They go crazy.
They go wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's part of it.
Yeah. Maybe.
And then dudes
one
are wearing
day
like
I'd-
shorts and a shirt. Like
Yeah. Maybe one day to get to go just to say even if
yeah,
it's just
it,
for one
it does
day.
look fun.
But other than that, like it seems pretty.
It seems
hot as
it
hell.
looks exhausting to me.
It's hot as hell.
It looks exhausting,
Mm-hmm.
and like I think if we did this in our early 20s, sure.
Yeah.
When you had the stamina to do that, and you're
Yeah.
drinking
Mm-hmm.
the whole time, so not only are you in the desert, but you're dehydrating yourself even more with the alcohol.
Yeah.
You probably feel like shit the whole time. Well, I don't know. I'm sure they're on other drugs too, but
Yeah.
Not if you're 20. You probably are okay.
that's true because we used to get
Bounce
hammered
back.
when we were that age, and then go play like 6
Wake
games of
up
basketball
drunk.
the next day.
Yeah, wake
Yeah.
up
Sweat
drunk
it
and
out.
fucking
Yeah,
still
that's
go
true.
do your shit and then get drunk again all
Yeah.
over. Oh,
Especially
God.
when it's like no assigned seating, just get to the stage and you can
Yeah.
watch whatever
Yeah.
headline person that you've been wanting to see. I think
Yeah.
I'm sure that makes it cool, but
been
for
there's
me.
like
Not
pretty
right
epic
nowadays.
performances that come out of Coachella, and I think that that's like
Yeah.
also it's built up
And it's
so
all
many
day.
people.
It's all
Yeah,
day.
all
There's
day.
performances
Yeah.
all day, morning to night.
But obviously, like the bigger people are like at later.
I wonder
whatever,
if people
yeah.
camp out in front of the stages.
Oh,
to
yeah.
get those good spots.
I mean, they do that. We did that at like Warp
I think
Tour,
they just
and
pass out in front of
They just wake up when it's
Right.
time.
They take a little power nap. You good? Yeah, I'm good, man. Let's keep going.
I think you can camp
there's
there.
people on the stages all throughout the day.
Oh,
And so, I mean, really, yeah, some people do just stay at the same stage and camp out and just
because the
watch.
entertainers are swapping out. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
no, I
the
don't think they perform more than once though.
no, right. So let's say there's like 4 different stages. So they're far enough away that you can't necessarily hear, and the shows are all staggered. So this one will have a show at like 8. This one will be 8:30. This one or 8:30, 8:45.
So you're paying
like,
that much money to not even see all the stages?
Nope.
yeah.
You have to
Jeez.
walk to
And
go
you have to
whatever.
pick whichever you want to see.
Wow. How many people go to Coachella?
Oh, a lot.
Thousands.
Yeah.
I just tripped out at the 60% of people are like swiping that shit.
And it's international though,
Oh.
right? Like it's
Yeah.
not just
But the thing is, you can watch the stream, the live stream of it on YouTube. There's like
and get
a-
hammered at home.
Yeah, you can watch all the concerts that are going on.
But that's not the same, you
It's
know.
not,
I mean, I guess
but-
you could have like a Coachella party and like
Sure.
have
like,
it on all your TVs and
just-
dress up all fun with your friends.
I think
like-
that's a 30-year-old thing to do.
yeah, true.
Right? Woo, we're raving tonight.
People, I saw
Get the
people had
strobe lights in your
I
house.
saw people had their babies at Coachella.
Oh, that's
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I live by no rules.
I mean, with like
young
their
and
little
reckless.
headphones on, you know,
Yeah.
like the little.
but
the-
how hot it is. That's not.
it's not even. I mean, it's early in the spring.
You got to
So
teach them
it's
at a
not
young
that
age.
bad.
Yeah, they got to build that stamina up.
Party
young.
hard now.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way.
It gets hotter during the summer here than it is there right now. Like,
Yeah, and I'd say what else? The those fucking the spaceship that fucking went up in.
Oh, God.
with
are we sure
all
that
the
they
ladies.
even really did
who
that?
ladies were in there?
did
Wasn't there? Was Katy Perry in there?
Yeah,
she got-
and Gail King.
I'm hearing a lot of
and-
people are saying it was fake. Of
I
course,
think
people are
it
going to
is.
say that.
I think it is fake.
You think it's fake?
If it's fake, that's pretty crazy. Like,
Do you think the moon landing was fake? No.
I think that
interesting.
was real.
What do you think it is? Which one is fake?
both.
Both are fake.
The moon landing too?
I haven't heard the reasons as why everyone thinks this one is fake. What is
So,
the?
do you think that we've been to any planets, or do you think that
space?
just
No.
specifically?
Space.
Okay. How do you think that humans have been in outer space?
Outer space, probably.
Yeah, look at
Do you
Guardians,
think that
Guardians of
they've
the Galaxy.
returned?
Oh, look
Oh
there.
my gosh.
Katy Perry.
Duh.
I'm wide awake. Fuck her. I hate her. She's
That's why you
just
think it's
so-
fake. The truth comes out. The truth comes
You
out.
just don't like her.
No,
That bullshit
I mean,
was fake.
I do
I
not like her.
Yeah, what's wrong with her?
I mean, I'm not her biggest fan.
Yeah, me
She's
neither.
just
I love her,
like
but
a
you don't
very
hate her.
good music.
But you don't hate her.
I
she's
don't
like
know.
catchy, sure, but I don't think that she's like anything that's like right.
Special.
Yeah.
Like we could have left her in space. We'd been fine.
Yeah.
Please.
But it was
Damn,
fake, so you
man.
can't do that.
No, well, there's just things that like
Aggressive.
there's things about it that are to me obviously. So like every door on every spacecraft typically opens is from the outside going in
Oh, okay.
because the pressure, right?
okay.
You don't want the pressure of space to be able to push the door in.
Okay.
Right? So there's a part where you see the door open on the inside. Jeff Bezos does his little thing that's supposed to open it up, and it
Okay.
opens going inward.
Oh.
So
Interesting.
that alone, their hair is like not even. It's like barely like.
I don't know. There was one lady. There was one. I think Gail King or whatever the fuck. She looked terrified the entire time. So I feel like if she knew it was fake, I don't think she would have that look on her face.
You thought
I
it
don't-
was, you thought it was like
Aren't
genuine
they
fear?
professionals though? Like, couldn't that be acting?
I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. They're not
I
necessarily
mean, to me,
actors, right?
it looked like it could
Gayle
have been
King's
like 100%. How they filmed like movies to be in space or whatever. That's what it
Sure.
looked like.
What
maybe.
did-
but
who sent him up? Was it NASA or SpaceX?
Bezos,
his own.
And what was the point of that?
Blue
Amazon.
Origin.
I don't know.
Is it-
Oh,
yeah.
I heard. I don't know if this is true, but I heard the whole point of it is to potentially provide a luxury experience for people.
So,
to pay,
right.
and they can
So
just do that.
There's already
So
a
those-
list of
so how
who
much
the
do they
next people are
spend?
going to be.
I don't know, but this was only like what
So do they
a
spend
20
But that's
minute
wild though,
experience?
right? 'Cause,
millions to
like,
go up
we're,
there?
We're supposed to be like conserving our energy, and we're supposed to be like moving to electric
Yeah.
cars, and
Yeah.
we're supposed
And
to
we're
like,
$33 million,
do all of these
$33 trillion
things.
in debt
But you can just go to space if
for the
If you're
rich.
rich enough.
Yeah,
If you're rich
for the
enough.
rich.
Because
Like-
I heard this was just like a couple minute experience, even just
it was like 10 minutes or
Yeah.
7 minutes or something.
that's
like that.
pretty unbelievable. That's pretty crazy,
Right?
Yeah,
And
To-
that's my
to say it
like
that.
argument of like
pretty
why
crazy.
I think billionaires are unethical, because exactly what she just said.
So hold on. So if it is real, and let's say you guys would be able to afford it, would you ever even do it, or would you
No.
think about doing it?
No.
No, nobody.
If I could afford it,
Yeah, if you can afford it theoretically, and this was like a legit, like, I don't know, they've been doing it.
not that I'm against that people doing that. If they want to do it, more power to them. I just think I personally would want to use my money in a better way.
Right.
There's like I don't know. There's 100,000 different things you can just invest that money, and there's a lot you can donate some of that money to a good cause. There's a lot of other things that I would want to use that money for instead of that. But if you have it and you want to go up there, more power to you.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like, Jeff Bezos has all this money to send his fiance and all of these people to space.
Yeah.
Surely he has a couple bucks he could like solve world hunger with.
Sure.
Like, that's my thing about billionaires. Like, why you have more money than you could ever spend in your whole entire life, even if you bought one of every single fucking thing on the planet. Why? What is the point of holding on to that?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if it was like, if I was in that whatever, however, I don't know what the price point is, but if I was already, I don't know, someone who's already investing in whatever, assuming I'm already like doing all that, I'd be down to check out space for if it's only gonna be up there for 10
I don't
minutes
know.
and
That
back.
scares
I
me.
definitely wouldn't be the first one.
It's super, yeah. I
I'd
wouldn't
let
be
a
the
couple
first
of
one.
trials.
We haven't even been
people
to the
go-
bottom of the ocean, and that's on our planet.
Yeah.
Why do we need to go to
That's-
space?
That's fair.
I just think it's one of those things where like something is happening in the background that they're distracting us with this whole space thing that's everywhere.
I can see that.
From like us seeing something that's happening somewhere else.
I
Right.
can see that. Yeah.
And they're saying, "Oh, this is groundbreaking for women." How about all the women astronauts that have worked years and years and years for this and were basically fired because
right.
other people's
Reasons.
yeah. Because other people's
right.
companies took over, but you know,
Right.
it's okay.
Right.
So-
right. That's fair. Well, for whatever reason, it was everywhere, and the memes were pretty fucking funny. I even saw Wendy's, the food chain, was roasting Katy Perry.
Yeah, can we send her
Jeez.
back?
So we send her
That's
back
what
to
they
space.
tweeted. Can we send her back?
Why? They don't like her?
I guess not. I don't know.
She doesn't eat
just-
Wendy's or something? She doesn't endorse
I
it?
don't know why she doesn't.
She
Why?
doesn't endorse them.
Why
I love those
Wendy's
spicy nuggets there.
don't Frosty.
And the chili. The chili's fire. Anyway.
So do you think that global warming is something that we can like kind of prevent, or do you think that the earth goes in like cycles of like kind of killing everything off and like or you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
I think the earth goes in cycles. And if you actually look at the last, I don't know, 20,000 years, whatever, that we're actually in a cooling phase right now, believe it or not. If you go off of those projections, and they show like the earth does this. The earth will cool, warm up.
right. I
cool.
mean, we have evidence of an ice age, and then
the scariest part that a lot of people say is not global warming, it's global cooling.
Right.
Because if we get into an ice age, everything dies.
right.
And the way we get into an ice age is just, it's literally like, it could be the difference of half of a degree over a long period of time. If in the winter, if it's not warm enough to melt all the ice, then in each winter you just have a little bit more ice and a little bit more ice in each, and you do that over 100 years, ice age.
So do you think
Continental
that there's
shelves
anything
frozen.
that we as like smart human beings, as like the advanced creatures that we are, do you think that there's anything that we can do to like prevent the ice age or like keep people alive through the ice age, or are we gonna like be able to adapt based on like the technology that we have, or?
I would say yes. I mean, certainly humans are not helping the Earth because this is to our knowledge, this is the most populated the Earth has ever been, ever in history,
Right.
to our knowledge.
And then
right?
like the use of fossil fuels and like, they say the ozone layer does the ozone layer exist, or, like all that shit. Like,
I think technology wise, we will get to a place where we can survive an ice age. But none of that matters if we get hit by like an asteroid.
or if we nuke ourselves out.
That's like a planet resetting event.
It's anxiety.
That nothing.
I'm at a table full of anxious people.
Right?
That's a planet resetting event that will set us back to Stone Age.
Yeah.
Like we'll be operating with sticks and stones again. I always look at the pyramids and say, how in the hell did they do that? And now they're finding out. We talked about it a couple podcasts ago about these coils that go 800 meters below the pyramids into the ground that could have been a source of electricity or power.
Right.
So how were they doing that back then? Was
Right.
it already an advanced civilization that got wiped out by an asteroid?
Right. We watched a
Or
documentary
whatever.
once where they found like caves, or not caves necessarily, but it looked like a like good civilization, a civilization, and they did the test, the carbon testing or whatever on it, and it like threw any previous like dates of like human existence like out the window.
Meaning it went back further?
Yeah, way
Yeah.
further. And like
They're finding that more and more.
yeah, like it threw it and people are like up in arms like there's no way. But I mean, it makes sense if there is like a cycle of like taking care of the earth, or
Well,
who
now we have a
knows?
lot of evidence to prove that the Younger Dryas impact theory is real. There's sites that they find, I think it's called Trinonite, which is only, I don't know if it's called Trinonite or something else, but it's a mineral that's only found off of things that come from outer space. And there's these areas that they are finding fossil fuels or even tools or bone that predates like anything that we thought before. So they're saying that all that is evidence, and I'm probably butchering this, but they're saying all that is evidence that there was a Younger Dryas impact, which is like the Big Bang, right? Something hitting the
reset.
Earth. I don't know if it reset all of civilization, but something hitting the Earth like kilometers wide, wiping out probably 80 to 90% of civilization.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean,
not everybody,
the
but-
fact that like Pangea existed at one point, like that blows my mind, and that's like scientifically proven, right? But
Some people say we're here because of panspermia.
What's that?
You ever heard of that?
No.
Panspermia is that an asteroid. So there was no life on this Earth, and then an asteroid hits the Earth, and there are
Like
biological living
organisms.
organisms on that now start to manifest into, well,
become from
You
the
go
single
from
cell organisms
all the way to
up.
us, evolution, and that's
So
how
that's
we're
how
here.
we got to like
I think it's called panspermia. Yeah.
What created those organisms? though?
Everything that I hear always goes back to intelligent design, and then the question is who created the intelligent design.
I've also heard of like there's people that at some point we like aliens came in, and so there's some people that have it and some people that don't.
Like the more and more people talk about all this stuff, I find that a lot of people always go back to Christianity, because everybody can explain everything to a certain point, and then we either haven't figured it out or there is no other explanation. It goes back to intelligent design, and the answer is who created the intelligent design? Who was behind the intelligent design?
I see.
So it's pretty crazy. That stuff is really interesting to me.
I mean, it blows my mind that we're just a speck of dust hurtling through fucking space and time.
Yeah, we are so. Yeah, it's crazy.
But anyway, speaking of sperm, I have a.
I knew you were gonna
Speaking
do
of
that.
sperm
I knew you were gonna
donors,
do that. I got siblings.
speaking of sperm donors,
Yeah. I got I guess updates on my life, things that have been going on the past couple weeks. I want to say so far I have covered that. What did I have first?
you
It was-
discovered that your dad.
Yeah, dad had cancer, passed away. Right, I was fighting. Hold on, before you made an interesting comment. Like you could tell, like that I had a, what was it like, unresolved pain or something like that? Or
Unhealed conversation.
close. I was
Everybody
so close to
in that table
I was so
had
close to that.
unhealed conversations.
Break it down really quick. What do you remember saying from? This was the conversation about me trying
Right.
to decide
So
whether I was going to visit.
the comment didn't go necessarily just to you.
Okay,
I think
okay.
just as a table,
Yeah.
Everybody else feeling their own pain were like feeding into your pain, supporting your pain,
Yeah.
and letting you be in more pain
Yeah.
because everybody in some way or another related to that pain. So that felt, in my opinion, like a very unhealed conversation
Yeah, yeah.
because Eddie tried to bring light into the conversation,
Sure, for
and he
sure.
was definitely outnumbered by
Sure.
everything else.
Yeah, it's tough just because it's so what do you call that? Subjective or opinionated. Like it's so hard to like prove things that are in the future. Like
Right.
it's so hard to do all that.
And not every single one person has their own experience through life, and so
That's
coming to
so
different
hard.
conclusions,
Did you
the
go
just the point of like the comment is that in order for us to be able to have those like uncomfortable conversations but without feeding into your pain, like I would have to heal from my own pain so I don't relate to your pain and then add to that.
Sure. Right. Yeah, that's definitely not this table. Did you watch or see or
Yeah,
hear?
I heard that whole conversation,
Okay.
and I related with you a lot because
Okay.
I also grew up without a father.
Okay.
I know like some of the guys had their father in their life at times, but maybe not always present, and maybe not the best model of what a father should be. But like I never, I mean, I was like you, I never had a father. I don't even know if my real dad's alive. For all I know, I mean, last I heard, which was 30 something years ago, he's in Mexico. That's all I know. I don't have pictures of him. I've never seen what he looks like. Supposedly my mom does, but
do you know his name?
Well, I'm named after my father. I'm a junior, so he has my name, or I have his name. But he left when I was 7 months old because he was, from what people tell me, he was kind of a deadbeat. He was in a band. He didn't make any money. He didn't contribute to the household. He wasn't helping my mom with me. He did drugs. The straw that broke the camel's back was her finding cocaine in the drawers that had my baby clothes. And she's just like, what the hell are you doing? You're going to get Saul. You're going to mess up Saul with this stuff.
Right.
And he's a 7-month-old baby. So she kicked him out. And then I never heard from him again. And so for a long time, I went through life thinking that I was a victim, right? And like saying, oh, well, I didn't have a dad growing up, so that's why I do this and that's why I do that. And yeah, I have a lot of trauma from not having a dad in my life. I did have other male role models in my life that helped me along the way, but the reality is they were not my father, and that wasn't their responsibility to be my father. I love them for what they did, but they had kids of their own. They had their own stuff going on. They had marriages that they had to work at. So they weren't my fathers, although some of them, treated me like children, and I appreciate everything they did. But for a long time, I played victim, and I thought that like him not being around was the reason why I had all these things wrong, in my life, why I self-sabotaged quite often, until I got to a point where I'm like, it is what it is. Stop being a victim and start doing the things that you need to do for yourself to heal and be better, and make sure that when you have kids of your own, you'll never be that. Right? So, and I look at you as somebody who was raised without a father, and you're the complete opposite of what your dad wasn't to you. And that's remarkable to me.
Right.
So,
So
I could resonate with you.
Dun dun dun. Mikhail has a second family. No, I'm just
hold
kidding.
on.
Yeah, that was
Well, I know I saw you the following day. I know you weren't there when we recorded it,
Mm-hmm.
but I did see you the following day, and I'm trying to remember what I remember. What you
talked about
said,
it.
it was very similar to what Eddie said, as far as like how I should maybe like approach it or think about it, whether there's going to be regrets in the future or to kind of help heal me, whether I don't know whether I'm able to see that or not. I'm trying to just remember if that's just the gist of where you fell on what happened in my situation.
I remember telling you that, and I know I heard what Eddie said, and I do tend to agree more with Eddie. But what I said was, I mean, ultimately it's your decision. But I asked you, I said, do you think there's anything inside that is preventing you from looking at this objectively? Meaning, are you holding on to any resentment? Are you holding on to any trauma? Are you holding on to any damage that is blurring the vision that's allowing you to make a completely objective decision saying like, okay, all things considered, I don't have this damage. And if I make this decision, I'm going to be okay with this decision in 30 years.
Right.
That was what I told you. And then I was like, it's your decision. And I even
Right.
said, if you want me to go with you, like, I'll go with you. Obviously, I'll just sit in the car. Like, you do your thing.
Right.
If you just want somebody there to be with you. But I was like, if you can make that
He
decision.
wants you to hold his hand.
Dude, I'll hold your hand, bro. If you make that decision,
Please.
like after you've, I guess, marked all those other things off your list,
Yeah.
then I think you're making the right decision, and it's a decision that you're not going to regret down the road.
Right. All right. Well, shit. Well, I guess.
The decision was made for him.
Yeah, which I mean,
That's crazy.
I addressed, so just to kind of recap, to finish my recap, I was in the middle of like deciding whether to go or not. Episode ended. Had about 2 weeks until we recorded the following one, and then from in that time he passed. So in the middle
Within a couple of days
of
of
me-
recording the episode.
Yeah, it was fast.
of me
Yeah.
trying to decide how I felt, what I wanted to do, or whatever, he passed. And honestly, like a lot of things have come from that are potentially pretty good, in a weird way.
That are positive, yeah.
Positive. In the not his passing per se, but there has been multiple family members. One of which I have been directly in contact with. That, if I remember correctly, the way that this got introduced to me, my little brother reached out to me and was like, "Hey, our sister has reached out to me," and she actually said that she had reached out to you before she even reached out to me. And I was just like, "There's no way," because I haven't seen anybody
Try to reach
send
out.
me
yeah.
anything that I don't know. And he was like, "She saw your podcast," and I was just like,
Wow.
"How?" And he said that no, he never told me how. But if I were to break down, because she never even told me how, but she, from what I know on this timeline,
The end of
their
February.
their dad gets cancer at the end of the year. Names are given. My name and little brother's name's given. And if I were to just assume what was done next is, do they have social media? And on, at least my social media, I have clips from our podcast.
and you're
sh-
not private, you're public.
I'm a public,
and, yeah.
public page. And she actually went to go watch or just browse at the podcast, and she specifically watched the episode that was titled "Fatherhood Without Fathers." I believe that's how it was titled. And she watched that entire episode, and she wrote this part. She said, "After I watched your episode, I was compelled to reach out to you, and I was how did she phrase it? Essentially, she enjoyed or respected my thoughts and feelings on that, how I parent. She thought I was had to have been a pretty good person based on that, and based on what she saw, she just really wanted to reach out to me. This
Yeah.
was like in February.
She
on
said, and
Facebook.
regardless of my dad's actions, I am not my dad.
Yes,
And she just very eloquently
super eloquently.
and, with an open heart, very much so, she wanted to reach out to Mikhail and
yes,
be involved and kind of get to know them. And
yeah, and it sat in my inbox up until like 2 weeks ago, and
in
was-
your request.
that was February.
Yeah.
She sent it, and it went to a request folder that I never check. I don't know if you guys ever check your request folders, but I always associate that with spam. And she was sure as shit sitting in there. And aside from that, she also sent a follow-up message when she didn't hear from me in March on Instagram.
Well, yeah, she sent the February message in Facebook.
On Facebook,
And
yeah.
then she sent a couple weeks later the message on Instagram. in March.
Yeah.
And was like, still don't know. Like, just
in case you're not on Facebook often,
Yeah.
I just wanted to let you know, I wrote a really long thing, but essentially it's this, basically what I.
So this means he came clean and told them about you guys before he was like on his last weeks.
Yeah, he was telling them this as he was letting them know he has cancer, period. Like that same, shebang. And that's when names were given. I'm sure shock was had, and then they start. Well, at least she said she started just looking up our names and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's crazy that the podcast had any sort of, I don't know, the weird way
Impact,
things work. I guess I don't know. It's just crazy. It's crazy that worked out in that way. But we have been kind of getting to know each other little by little. She's one of 4 siblings. She's the youngest. Something crazy, kind of messed up. Her and my little brother have birthdays same year, only like a month apart from each other. So my brother's in September 92 and she's in October 92. So just kind of a fucked up picture of like kind of what was going on during those times. But, little by little, each sibling, my little brother has been way more out there wanting
approaching,
people to talk to him. Whereas me, I'm just kind of like, she reached out to me months ago, but that's, once I saw it, then I finally reached out to her and be like, hey, I'm happy you wrote
and
this.
he found all of this out on a day where he essentially worked a double shift. And all of this is like unfolding with discovering that his sister has reached out to him, but he's not even really able to like pay attention to it or respond to it. He gets home at like almost 8 o'clock at night, barely gets in the shower, scarfs down a burrito, and like starts reading all of the messages and everything. But it was a long day, I'm sure. I'm wondering if and when your dad's memorial is, and if they would. I know you don't want to go to the memorial, but if they're all in town,
right.
If you would be willing to meet them, would you want to, or
maybe, yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Hit up Phil's barbecue, or
Do they not live around here?
No, 2 of them do, and then she lives like in Michigan, and then there's another brother that lives in Arkansas. So, and I noticed today I got a few subscribers all at once, and then my little brother told me, hey, just a heads up, this other brother reached out to me today, and I don't know where this comes up in their conversation, but he shoots them the same fuking podcast episode to them. Apparently, this is my intro as a person. Apparently,
that's funny.
And he sends me, just like kind of snapshots, like, hey, this is what they thought so far of that thing.
So, what did you expect was gonna happen from them?
Once they reached out to him or me?
Once they found out about you. Is this what you were expecting?
Yeah, kind of.
Mikhail never really expected anything. Chris, I think, Chris's whole point, I think, was to find more family.
This is what Chris actually wanted.
Yeah.
I kind of did expect that people would reach out. I am trying to navigate how I want to proceed, I guess, now with this.
Or how to proceed.
Yeah.
Like finding, like carrying on a conversation.
Initially, it was just like, fuck, do I want to even get involved with all this? I don't even know if I want to, And then after just going back and forth with her, she's been so like pleasant and like so considerate and so open that it has made me more open to the idea of meeting more people.
Yeah. She seems like a lovely person, like just a very beautiful inside and out person kind of thing. Like,
right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah. It's kind of hard. I don't know. Are those not reactions you guys would have if,
well, especially going your whole entire life and and only having you and your brother. And then now you have not only 4 other siblings, but you have a sister. And that's like,
sure. Well,
you know, to have to like say that after so long, that's like kind of
Right.
a big deal. You
And
know,
she's the youngest out of all 6.
she's the youngest.
yeah.
Because she has 3 older brothers. Well,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just one sister. All the rest are brothers.
Yeah, I don't know. How would you guys feel? Like, would you guys be like running to like want to just be part of the new family, or would you guys also kind of like take it slow and kind of wait? Like, I that's how I feel like I'm being right now. Is I'm kind of like I'm just taking it easy right now. Like as
I think
things
you're
come
trying
in,
not to
I'm-
set yourself up for like a letdown. You know what I
Sure,
mean? Like
yeah.
you're not expecting too much out of it because you don't like what are you going to get out of it necessarily? Like is it going to be spending all of this energy into something and then not or you know like it's a hard situation.
So when I was about 5 years old, vasectomy. Last year when I found those messages of like him cheating, denied and whatnot, when I told I had found some messages, she's like, "Oh yeah, the messages he gets from that lady asking him for money for the girl." He says that it's his brother's girlfriend who has a daughter and sends money on behalf of you. To me, that sounds like complete BS, right? So, I kind of putting things together. I feel like a man, like if you're done having kids after you would have gotten your vasectomy right then and there, kind of like Rick did,
Right.
right? But the fact that he waited so many years and then got a vasectomy leads me to believe that he had an accident. And so I have a suspicion that I have a sibling somewhere that's child. With that said, I feel like if that was to be true and this person was to reach out to me, I would want to make it a point to be there for that person because how selfish of to not allow this child that might or might not exist, right? To enjoy her grandparents or his grandparents, to enjoy the life I enjoyed by like all my childhood being close to all of my cousins, especially
Right.
because really big family.
That's my dad was telling you about like kind of the similar situation.
Right. Well,
Where-
in this case,
Yeah.
Daniela's kind of like my sister in this
Right.
sense.
Yeah.
Which makes
Yeah.
it checks. She reached out and was very open. And
Yeah, so I would
Great.
feel like I got chills, but I would feel just like terrible that because this grown man made a mistake or a decision, and because of his selfishness, this child grew up alone.
Yeah.
Right.
Right,
So I know it's not my fault and it's not my responsibility to fix it, but I would love to be there and share whatever I can.
Right.
Which would also get a little bit weird because I also love him and he's a great me. So now how do I navigate telling you what you missed out on?
Right. Yeah, that's tricky. And that's I also, when
You think that's who he's sending money to?
I'm pretty sure.
this is unresolved, just to be clear. Like
It's-
this is
my anxiety.
okay. Got you.
Right. So like messages that I saw weren't those messages, but when I told my mom, like I saw these messages, my mom was like, "Yeah, he sends money to this lady. She reaches out and tells him the girl needs clothes, the girls need shoes or whatever. One girl. And your dad sends her money, but this girl is your so one of my brother's girlfriend who has a daughter.
But why would he be sending money?
How
That's-
convenient.
That sounds.
That to me sounds like
yeah.
complete BS, right? But if my mom chooses to believe it, I also can't do anything about that.
Yeah. Nor do you plan to.
Nor do I plan to, no.
Gotcha.
I am on
enough.
Ancestry, so if she finds me, she'll find me.
Waiting for people to get caught up.
And that's like
fine.
another thing because he's done a DNA test also. And it's like, you don't even need the parent to fess up anymore. Like people can
If-
find each other without
Yeah, it
that.
I
Like,
don't know if this person, if they live in Mexico, if they have the same type of
Right.
things or not, but
But I mean, the ability is out there. And so, yeah.
Sure, yeah. No, yeah. I mean, would you be willing to run if you found out you had like
Dude,
a whole set of brothers and sisters that
I
were...
would try to do everything in my power to avoid them. I'm an only child. No, I'm joking. That's a hard question.
Yeah.
Because I think I would probably handle it similar to how you're handling it, but I think that I would be super excited
Yeah.
because I've always, I mean, I know I have all the guys.
Yeah,
You guys are like brothers to me. I mean, I've
Right.
known you guys. I'm 36. I've known you for more than half my life.
Right.
I mean, we've known each other 20
Notice
something.
how he said they are like brothers. That didn't include us.
Well, you're like sisters.
Yeah, fuck me, right?
You're like
I mean,
sisters.
you guys aren't brothers.
You don't. Yeah, you don't have the chromosomes.
Yeah.
I think I'd be really excited because I would want, especially if it was a brother. I would be,
Yeah.
and
So
especially
you would be excited.
I would be excited. No. I was joking earlier. I would be
Oh,
super
okay,
excited.
okay,
But I mean, I would handle it the same way that you're handling in terms of treading very carefully
Okay.
and
yeah.
slowly.
Yeah.
But I would be really excited and be like, oh man, could this turn into like me having an actual, biological
Relationship with
brother,
someone.
yeah,
Yeah.
or sister. I would try to, especially. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter, right? If I was younger or older, but if I was the older sibling, I would really, really try to just be, I don't know, like an outlet for him or like a resource, and try to just, hey, I'm here if you need anything. Like try to be a
Right.
big brother, or to whoever that person is.
Right.
But it would.
What
be
if
really,
you had a big brother?
That'd be cool too.
That'd be crazy.
I mean, because I'm the oldest out of all the guys, so there's
Right,
nobody
yeah.
older than me.
What if you had a sister and
And
she
out of
was
state.
really hot and she ended
Oh
up with
my
Adrian?
Jesus Christ.
I'd kill her.
Wow.
I'd kill her.
You went there.
Oh no, I'd kill Adrian. I'd kill Adrian. Not my.
You went there.
Why would you say that? Don't you ever put that juju in the air?
Yeah. But yeah, I guess that's my latest update with that. It's gonna be like a 10-part saga, fucking made for TikTok or something. But
We'll see.
yeah. But with that said, I'll pass it to Lindsay, who has, I guess, hot takes, relationship related hot takes that she wants to kind of throw at us to see kind of
Oh,
where we stand on a lot of this stuff. So
I was joking about the tranny. I just want you to know.
meaning he's down.
All right.
I can't believe you said another one. That wasn't me. That was
So
Adrian.
I just want to hear if you guys agree or disagree. What's your hot take on the hot take? Okay, and just because the hot take, just what?
Just
Nothing.
counting how many times. You
Yeah,
said
what's your hot take on the
Right.
hot take?
Because the hot take.
Just because
Big
I'm
old
saying
cupcakes.
this does not mean that I agree
Okay.
with this. Okay.
Really? Let's talk about your OnlyFans page.
Really?
Yeah.
Your OnlyFans research.
Oh my god.
Yeah, your OnlyFans research.
Right, to clarify.
Yeah.
Anywho, okay, so we did a love language test at one point. Have you ever done one? What are your love languages?
Direct.
Gift giving.
Gift giving. Okay,
Physical
So-
touch.
Is it receiving gifts or gift giving? I thought it was receiving gifts. Or,
both.
No, so
Both?
it's
Both.
I show love by gifting things to people,
Okay.
and I like to be loved by receiving gifts.
Right.
Got it.
Right.
Acts of service, words of
I think
affirmation,
it was
time
words of
spent.
affirmation.
Okay, so tell me I'm pretty and buy me something nice.
Yep.
Okay.
Right, that sounds pretty
Sounds
good.
pretty easy, right?
Right. Okay, so the hot take is love languages are just an excuse for people to avoid doing uncomfortable emotional labor. So the example that I have here is that I'm not good at words of affirmation. That doesn't mean that you get a free pass to just never compliment your partner. So do we think that love languages are real, or do we think that love languages are just kind of like a cop out?
Love languages are definitely real.
So this cop out would apply to the person that has to, I guess, try to
I think
Right.
that
So
Give the like.
if
Yeah,
your
so if
love
I-
language
To love
doesn't
them in
match
that
your
way?
couple's love language, and you refuse to give her love language because that's not your love language.
That's what that's
But I-
that's what that is.
So
Yeah.
words of affirmation, like, so you like to hear, "Hey babe, I love you. You're so handsome.
right.
You're my best friend." You
Yeah.
love to hear that.
Yeah.
Okay. If I wasn't good at expressing of like saying things like that, that means that I should like make effort to like give you the words of affirmation that you want.
Oh, okay.
It's not an excuse for me to be like, "Oh, well, I'm not good at giving words of affirmation, so I'm not."
And are you asking that based on people who've taken the test, saying, "Well, I've taken the test and I'm not good at words of affirmation. I'm good at acts of service, so I don't have to do the other part." So it's kind of like a cop out almost.
That's the hot take. It's
That was-
it's
Oh,
an
yeah.
excuse.
Question.
Yeah.
well, she asked it weird the first time. She explained it better the second time.
Love languages are just an excuse for people to avoid doing uncomfortable emotional labor.
I think for some, yes. For some, no.
Yeah, I'd say like that just is an example of things that you're gonna have to do in your relationship. Like just because you're not good at it, if that's what your partner needs for them to be like comfortable with you, then you gotta at least start practicing and
Right.
trying and intentionally trying to do those things. Like
Right.
regardless if you're because nobody's ever good at everything, but if your partner says, "Hey, I need this," you got to start trying to do that if that's
Right.
someone you really want to be with, or else.
But that comes with emotional maturity, right? To
I guess,
understand
yeah.
that the way I love you might not be the way you want to be loved.
Right. Yeah.
And then I have to make changes on my own. I should expect you to change how you want to be loved.
Right. Is there are there things you guys have had to are in the middle of trying to work on certain things that you guys aren't naturally good at? you just said. But I mean, you have one already. I could probably think of one. But do you guys find yourselves ever running into like, hey, it just so happens that Eddie really likes this, so I'm always trying to make sure that I'm, trying to do that? No, not so much.
So I have the memory of a goldfish,
Nice.
and you all know my husband has a scary memory.
He's a genius.
It's crazy.
He should have
so-
been.
He's like the
Big Bear-
elephant doesn't
He
forget.
should have been a
for
straight A
sure.
student.
Like-
Big
With
Bear
that
was
memory.
Big Bear was ridiculous.
right. If he had only applied himself.
He should have
Yep.
been a straight A
So
student.
I think our biggest struggle as a couple are like the little things that to me don't really matter, but to
Okay.
him are really important. Like when you leave a room, you turn off the light, and to me, it's like doesn't matter, And he
Right.
he takes it as like I'm not doing what he's asking me to do, and for me, it's just kind of like it's just the light.
Minuscule type thing.
And then he's like he keeps reminding me, but I keep forgetting, right?
So
because
is
of that.
acts of service one of his love language? Okay. So
That's
so
one.
do you make an effort to help him to like meet that love language?
I do now?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
But I think that he also does the other way too. He now makes an effort to meet your
well, he now, yes, he always has, but he also makes an effort to understand that my brain doesn't work the same way as his brain, and like a reminder to me is not a reminder. Like it doesn't just work the same way.
yeah.
Sure, a little bit more grace.
So now you just turn on all the lights in the house and leave them on.
No, now I just turn them all off.
Oh, everything is off.
Yeah.
Everybody's
yeah.
in the living room with the light on. You just turn it off.
You enjoying this light? Off before I forget
Yeah.
later.
Right? Yeah, I mean, I was hardwired. My dad was
That's a
like
premature off.
crazy.
Yeah. I'll forget later, so off.
My dad was crazy about like turning lights off, so it was instilled in me very early. But yeah.
Okay.
So the next hot take.
Wait, hold on. What about have you ever had to get? Is there one that you're just naturally not? Doesn't come natural to you?
Oh, love language?
Yeah, that you have to do for other people.
I'm not. I think there's I don't know. I'm all
Good at everything.
I think-
no, not at all. I'm jacked up and everything.
Right.
okay,
I
yeah,
do
yeah,
have a
yeah.
feeling that you're maybe not great at like words of affirmation because you're
Yes.
holding yourself back
Yeah.
from opening
Yeah,
up.
I'm not good with the mushy stuff at all.
Really? I
also
feel
not
like
a
you're-
great
I f-
gift
I feel
giver.
like you're great at
Yeah.
that.
No, I'm a
sometimes.
phenomenal gift.
No, yeah, he
No, I'm
when
not.
he likes
No,
you,
he
he'll
gives you a gift
definitely
card.
like drop No, but he's bought multiple girls Disneyland tickets or really expensive perfume or
But
like
maybe
you know.
not maybe not like serious, but I feel like I have seen like Loverboy, like you've been a little mushy here. And
Yeah,
there.
certified
like,
lover boy. Yeah,
you
there's
know,
stages,
right?
I guess.
but maybe you weren't necessarily like. I'm just like.
So I think I struggle when you get out of the honeymoon stage, right?
Okay.
Because that's like when everybody
when
everybody gets out of the honeymoon
I think
stage.
it's I think it's once you have to be emotionally
Yeah, I
vulnerable,
don't like
that's
that at
when
all. I
it
don't like
gets
that at
wonky to
I don't
you.
like that at all.
But if it's like
I
if you
don't like
gotta
that.
talk to like get it started, then you can talk to somebody and like get the feelings
what it is?
going.
It's
But
like in the beginning, it's so new,
Yeah.
and it's not just the newness part.
and you're
It's-
only showing them what you want to show them.
Well, it's not only that either. It's you just talked about vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
So in the beginning, because it's so new and you're learning each other,
It's fun.
It's not to me it's not as hard to be vulnerable because you're just like getting to know the person.
Yeah,
surface
yeah.
level stuff,
It
kinda thing.
is, right? But then once you get past that stage, you start thinking, and I'm sure your partner starts thinking, this can turn into something very serious.
Mm-hmm.
This could be something that's lifelong, that leads to kids and marriage. And when you start thinking, me personally, when I start thinking that way, that's when you have to become very vulnerable. And that is very scary because, as I mentioned before, I grew up without a father. So I think I have like abandonment issues that I've slowly been working through. But like I always fear you're gonna let yourself be completely vulnerable with this person, and then this person's gonna walk away.
Right, yeah.
Right. But you can't think like that because that is life.
Right,
And somebody walking away, if you've done everything that you can do, there's nothing you can do to change that person's mind.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they're gonna do that. And so you can't, I guess you can't guard yourself so much that you're not allowing yourself to love.
Yeah, you want to leave before they can leave you. That's
But that's
where
a-
like that's your
yeah.
old. That's
That's the old way I thought. And that's
Yeah.
the wrong mentality to have.
Yeah.
I think now, like my mentality is I need to love openly
Right.
and be vulnerable. And if it doesn't work out, you know what they just did? They did me a favor.
and
by
you
letting me know that they
of
weren't
all
the right one.
right. Oh, you of all people should know that people do stick around because
Oh, yeah.
you have family that have been around from the beginning, and then you've
Mm-hmm.
had friends longer than most people have any group of friends.
Right, but he can't date us.
No,
Right.
that's fine. But
Or can
that
he?
should be your example
There you
of
go. Now you're
understanding that people
There
Adrian
have
don't.
been a
single.
couple of crazy nights with Adrian. I'm just saying.
God, yeah. So
Oh my god.
I don't even want to tell the story of the first weekend we moved into the condo. I don't want to talk because he's gonna be upset. So
He's probably not gonna be too happy with that one.
Yeah.
let's just say I saw a little bit too much. I saw more than I wanted to see.
Okay. All right. Words of affirmation. You're good with gift giving. You're good with physical touching.
Oh, I
and
love being physically
that
affectionate.
stuff.
Like I'm not trying to make out with you in public and like
Right.
French kiss and all that, but the hand holding, the putting in your hand in like their
Right.
back pocket,
Yeah.
even around like holding them. Like I love all that
All
stuff.
right. So if there's any
Yeah.
girls listening that like to get gifts and like to be petted all the time, then Sal's your guy.
Jeez,
Petted.
I didn't say pet him.
oh my God. Little
him
do
up.
we know
Hit my
that
boy up,
Sal
man.
is into the furry community.
God, don't even say
We gotta
that.
do an episode on those things.
I'm gonna get people in my DMs meow. Some wild
Oh my
stuff.
God. Anywho,
right,
so the
anywho.
next hot take is you don't have to be best friends with your partner. Respect, support, and chemistry matter more than constant companionship or shared hobbies.
Wait, can you repeat that?
I'm all confused.
Yeah. Repeat,
Sorry.
Repeat.
The first part, you don't have.
fucking around or not? Go.
Sorry. We're getting in trouble.
You don't have to be best friends with your partner.
False.
Respect, support, and chemistry matter more than constant companionship or shared hobbies.
But wouldn't respect and what were the other things you said?
Support and
companion.
chemistry.
Isn't that all
Chemistry.
part of being a best friend?
And to me, I do think that you do have to be best friends because you do have to be constant companions. And you do, but you also, in order to be best friends, you have to build that respect, support, and chemistry, right? Like you're not best friends with somebody who you don't get along with,
Yeah.
right?
I just think like if you're telling me to choose between respect, companionship, or respect, support and
chemistry,
or me sharing a hobby with my husband, I'd rather take the respect
Right.
Those three.
Right. Okay.
And those three fall into being best friends with someone?
I think so.
Okay, just
Yeah.
just clarifying.
Think
Okay.
that you don't necessarily have to be best friends with them when you start a relationship, but you eventually get
Become
Yeah.
best
there because
friends.
that's who you see all day, every day,
Right.
Yeah.
right? And
You got to kind of like them after a while. Like, you
At
gotta-
least, I mean, because if you don't like them, that's when
Depends on how much
things,
money you have.
you know,
Right.
I
you
mean,
catch the ick and then it's gone. Like,
Yep.
I don't know if
Right.
Jeff Bezos is having ultra stimulating conversations with some of the girls that he dates, but
I mean,
well, but that's
why
why
is it
his relationships aren't forever.
not
they,
working?
very true.
All
They're
right.
they're forever fun though, probably. Sorry.
so I guess that leads into soulmates are not found. You are not, quote, destined for each other. You are choosing each other every day.
I agree with that one. I don't know
Soulmates.
if I don't know if I agree that there's like a particular soulmate, and that's like maybe if you're proposing there's more than one kind of soulmate kind of thing, but I don't know if I necessarily agree with.
I think
That
choosing
either.
each other
Yeah.
every day doesn't cancel out a soulmate.
Oh.
Yeah, I think they're two in the same.
Mm.
Okay.
Like I don't think it's either or.
Okay.
Maybe I think I confused myself, but
I think
I'm trying to think about
right.
it. Like,
I mean, I think
Yeah.
that there's like love at first sight that like, you know, makes you feel like and then you end up finding out that you like, oh, we do like to hang out. And then
Right.
you do end up making the choice to like choose each other every day. So I think that like it could feel like a soul. I don't know. Like,
well, then you talk about soulmates, and there's people that have divorce. So have they not met their soulmate
did they,
yet?
right. Did they get,
Well, I don't think a soulmate means that it's fixed and easy,
Yeah.
right? Because even if you meet your soulmate and you don't put in the work, it's not going to work.
Yeah, that's true.
if you don't put in the work to
that means
choose
people
each
just lose
other
their
every day?
soulmates, like on a regular basis.
Right.
I think if it, by that, you know, people will meet them and then they're not ready for them.
Or
and in that thought you
or
lost them.
they
That's
weren't
crazy.
ready for a reason,
Yeah.
and then like
Hopefully you
could
circle
go both
back
ways.
Or
around.
that
Yeah.
wasn't their soulmate.
Right.
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 Right. Dude, you guys are
Or
flipping
they
my brain
or
inside out right now.
or in,
So
or in
then
some
how do
cases
you-
they have multiple soulmates, like the Mormons.
Is that a thing? Multiple?
Yeah, they're polygamous, aren't they?
But
Polygamous?
Yeah, aren't they polygamous?
they're poly?
6 wives?
Polyamorous?
Polyamorous?
No,
Polynesians? Aren't they
no.
Polynesians? Aren't more? No, hold on. I'm sorry.
That's plural.
Aren't Polynesians? Yeah, the ones that have the
Because
they
there's
climb the
multiple
trees?
islands. Poly.
You climbed it.
Yeah. You never seen that?
Canceled.
They're wild. They grab coconuts and they break them open with their bare
Oh my
hands.
God.
Wait,
I'm
but
gonna-
don't Mormons marry
don't-
multiple women?
Yes.
Oh, there was, yes, that was like a thing.
The bed,
and they're
the bed
Not all
soakers.
Mormons.
polygamous.
But yes.
Yes.
Okay, well that's what I'm saying.
Not
In their-
modern day Mormons.
but in their case, they have multiple soulmates.
They can.
supposedly,
They're
yeah.
what are they? They're soakers.
Supposedly,
Multiple.
the voice of God is telling them to have multiple wives. So, another hot take. If you are constantly testing your partner to see how much you care, you don't trust them.
Absolutely.
I guess I need examples.
Yeah, care about what?
I need an
like
example.
what are the
Like,
tests?
they
Like a
care
math
about
test?
Oh, just about you in general?
Math.
Yeah, like
I'm about
social,
to
is
give
it
you-
social studies?
give you this
Like,
test, this annual.
okay, I'm going to go really, like, extreme, right? But you create a fake account and, like, reach out to your girlfriend
Oh,
on DM.
that's dirty.
Right? Because you're testing if she'll respond to that.
Is that what you
person.
mean by that? That's
I
dirty.
think that's a good example. Yeah. That's
I think that's a
if
great
you're
example. What's
a
Constantly
micro
testing
one?
a smaller one would be like,
Like microaggressions.
yeah, testing, like checking your phone
You're
or
getting canceled for that.
Phone.
checking their phone.
Checking their
yeah,
phone,
or
Oh, okay. Like
can
so,
see
if their
that.
phone goes off and then the partner's just like, "Hey, who texted you?"
yeah.
But that's you don't trust them.
Sure.
Or
sure,
like,
sure.
I mean, I ask them
No,
all the
I-
time, "Do you love me?" Like-
I ask all the time who texted you, but I think it's like actually going into their phone and reading the conversations to try to find something.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Maybe
I mean,
intent then is the real reason. Like,
right.
like what's your intention by asking that? And only you really know.
Right.
Like, what if that was like
Went
you're
very deep.
asking, right?
Right, right.
If you're asking for a certain reason or not. Are you just curious? Like, I'm just curious who texts you, or are you like having an insecure thought like who's texting you? But they can be presented.
What if you were
the
just
exact same
curious and you were like, "Hey, who's texting you?" And then the response was, "Why does it matter?"
Then it probably sets alarms off.
way? Right. Well, now give me your fucking phone. No, I'm playing.
And then
But like when you ask Mikhail, "Do you love me?" It's not because you doubt he loves you. It's just because you want to hear he loves you.
Yeah.
That's different than
Yeah.
testing him.
But I mean, some people could probably see me asking him like, "Oh, do you love me?" And them thinking like, "Damn, bitch!" Like,
What does it matter what they think?
yeah,
Yeah.
no, yeah.
right.
I mean, I trust them,
Yeah.
so
Well, I'm trying to think like what
You
other
were gonna
reason.
say, well, I don't.
No. That'd been a good plot twist. But, yeah, that would have been good content. I didn't think of that. I'm trying to think if there is any other reasonable examples someone could be testing without it necessarily meaning you don't trust. That's why I was trying to think of a micro one, but I don't know if I could think of a good enough
okay.
one that would
So I
like,
guess
justify that.
Maybe a micro. Well, I don't think that's micro. Never mind. I'll say maybe a micro one is like you find. Never mind. That's not micro.
Yeah.
I'll say you find condoms in your girl's purse and you guys don't use condoms.
That's a major one.
That's a major one.
Major one.
I thought that was. Yeah, that's not a micro.
It's just a micro.
I'm not good at microaggressions, man.
so. Then I guess that it leads into if you feel the need to hide your phone, you are already cheating emotionally, if not physically.
What if a woman suspected that her boyfriend or husband was sleeping with a man,
And then
Look,
and she asked him like,
Oh.
"Hey, why
like this
is
is home, but then
your
like
farts smell like
No,
penis?
hold on.
no? Like, why is Dewan always texting you? Like, oh, I play basketball with him,
Right.
But how come he's sending you pictures of his dick? Like, that would be gay, right?
Oh my god.
That would be gay, right?
what did you say?
Nothing. I've never heard of that before, but I don't know technology at
Yeah.
all. So
Anywho, but I mean, just like if you feel that like you can't put your phone on the table,
And walk away.
yeah, or like even if you're sitting right there, you can't put the phone on the table. You have to put it down,
down all the
face
time?
down.
does that
or-
bother anybody? I've dated women in the past that no matter what, they always put their phone face down, and I never went through their phone, but I always asked in my head why.
I put my phone face down because I don't want the notifications to distract me if I'm having a conversation.
So you've already thought about a good excuse. That's smart. I like that. I like that. I
my
like that.
gosh.
She's freaking prepared. She's ready to go.
Right.
You guys have meetings about this.
But I have a question. Okay, so in your serious relationships, do your girlfriends have the password to your phone?
Yes. I'd tell them.
Do you know the password to my phone?
You've given it to me a bunch of times. Whether I
He
remember.
He doesn't care to remember.
Yeah,
He
you told me
doesn't
about
give a
100 times. I
fuck.
still don't remember.
He
Is
doesn't
it-
care.
is it
That's
the-
awesome.
The last four of your phone number? Your old job landline? And
Not
now-
landline,
The
but
last four of
it
your
was
social.
it was
No.
the last four of my license number at VA House
okay,
of my
okay.
badge number.
Oh.
yeah.
Of your team member number or your gaming license?
Whatever was on my badge at VA House.
Well, you had both, but it was probably it was a little longer number.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure it was your phone number.
It was only
The
5.
landline.
No, it was only 5 digits.
Oh, 5 digits. I thought it was 4.
But I-
when
yeah.
it was team member number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, she's told it to me a bunch of times. I ask her every time, like, hey, I don't remember it. And like an example would be like, hey, just order food, and she has the Uber not pay for delivery thing,
Yeah.
so just get in there real quick and do it, and then I'll be like, well, fuck, I don't remember your thing again. So
I've had relationships where so I let the girl that I'm dating know the passcode of my phone because like I have nothing to hide. But I've also had relationships where I started dating somebody and we're dating for like 6 months, a year, and then an ex will reach out to me
yeah.
and I won't respond, but this is what I do personally. And to me, it's to build trust. I'll show my ex like, hey, I just want to let you know this ex texts me, hey, how are you doing? I'm not going to respond to it. I'm going to delete the thread, but I want you to know so that way, like, I don't know, you don't think that I'm trying to hide something for you. I guess they would never know if
First
I
of
just
all,
deleted
why
it.
weren't they blocked in the first place?
I don't block everybody that I've dated before.
I mean, to me, like if you're in a relationship, like
But why would you have to block people if they're not gonna?
I
Block
guess.
a lot of people.
So
Yeah,
right?
like that's
For you, yeah, for you, I guess. So then I guess like then that leads into the next hot take, which is cheating isn't always the end, but lying about it is. If cheating does happen, is cheating isn't always the end, but lying about it is. That's the hot take.
for me. Cheating is always the end. Even if they're upfront and honest about it, and not because, like that's great that they didn't lie about it, that they were forthcoming, but
The fact that it even happened.
I'll never trust them again.
Yeah.
I won't. Now, I everybody's different. Some people might be able to trust them again.
Yeah.
It might take a long time, but they'll rebuild that trust. I've actually been in a relationship where I was cheated on before, and I tried to make it work, and it was never the same. I never trusted her again. And then I also found myself doing things that I wasn't doing before she cheated, like
Putting
Checking her phone.
face down.
no,
Checking
no,
her phone.
no, like I would. So after she cheated, I wanted to end things, and she's like, "No, I'm really sorry. I made a mistake. Like it won't ever happen again. I promise. Like, can we please try to rebuild this?" And I was like, "Okay." I still cared for her as a person, but then I found myself like when she would put her phone down and walk out of the room, I found myself tempted to pick up her phone and go through it. And right when I felt that, I'm like, I need to get out of this. This is not for me. Because
Right.
once you start doing that, you're going backwards.
Right. And just because you tell me about it doesn't mean that we're like cool.
Yeah. So
like,
it was like a month later, we tried, and I was just like, I'm sorry, I'm never going to trust you again.
Yeah.
And I walked away, and then we never talked
no,
again.
totally. I mean, I would never
Yeah.
accept a cheater. You know, again, the same thing. If once that trust is broken, it's kind of like forever broken.
I think of my daughters, right, and what example I would want to give them, and because I wouldn't want them to like stay with somebody who doesn't love them enough to prioritize them, why would I do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point
Fair.
too.
Okay.
Wait, does it matter at all who they cheated on you with?
No.
Like if it was,
Example?
okay, like what if Lindsay was like, hey, it was Brad Pitt.
Oh, okay.
You know,
yeah.
Okay. Do you
Maybe
have?
we just get it.
Is there?
Well,
do
that's
you?
a hall pass. That's
Yeah,
a little
do you-
different.
Whoa!
So the question
How
is, do
many
we
hall
believe in hall
passes?
passes?
Like,
I believe
is there
in
a
ball
list of
passes.
only 3
Ball
people,
passes.
or
Ball
like,
passes.
or is it anybody that's just like, there's no fucking way that you had sex with Brad Pitt, motherfucker? I did.
I saw a funny video of some guy's girl or wife was just like, "Hey, just remember that time we spoke about hall passes and remember who mine was?" And he was like, "Yeah." He was like laughing it off. It was fucking Drake. He was like, "Yeah, right." So, a buddy of mine, she got backstage passes to Drake, and I'm going to see if we can hang out there after the concert, kind of thing. And he starts laughing. He's like, "Are you kidding me? Like, you really think Drake's gonna fuck?" Kind of thing. And he was like, "You know what? If you think you have a shot, go ahead." Kind of thing.
Would you be okay with if that was
I'm
me?
not as cool as that guy.
No, I mean, but yeah. First of all, ain't no way Drake is looking at me. Period.
Well, I mean,
but
regardless, you know what I mean. Like, it's you never know. But I mean, in a funny way, sure. But if it's like a serious, I'm putting myself now in front of this person, and I think that's a little disrespectful now. It's
Yeah.
a little, a little
Yeah.
crazy. But in theory, sure, ha ha ha. If we want to talk about people we were down to like sleep with, sure to an extent. But like even then, like I don't know if I necessarily
Who's on
like,
your
find
list?
that. I don't. You're trying to set me up.
no, I'm not.
He's played this game
Yeah,
before.
I don't,
What,
no, I've never
what
played this.
celebrities do you think are hot?
All the hot ones. I don't know. Like
All the hot ones?
I could say who's
Great
hot, but
answer.
it's different to like realistically say like, do I have a hall pass? thing?
Yeah, no,
Like,
I agree with that. Like, it's
Yeah.
funny to talk about,
Yeah.
but like in the real world, I don't care who
No.
she is.
Yeah.
Like, you're not.
Okay, hold on. One more question while we're on the topic of cheating. Does it count if it's with a robot? Because they're making robots now that look
Oh.
so human-like with. I just read that they have robots that now have skin made
It's
out
like
of human
AI
cells.
intelligence, and it remembers how you like it. And
I
like,
think any type of cheating is cheating.
Robots aren't people though.
like
It doesn't matter
masturbation
though.
too.
The fact that you needed to go stick your penis into something that wasn't
A pocket pussy? Is that across the
What
line?
about sticking your penis in your own hand and masturbating?
I
Is
mean,
that
it's,
a form of cheating?
it's technically not right in the like
biblical terms?
right.
In the Bible, yeah.
So I guess it's dependent on the terms of each person's relationship. Because if one person or if two people agree, like whatever, that's fine. Toys aren't. Jerking off's fine. This isn't,
Robots are cool.
or not. But those are
Yeah.
terms
Or
that
not.
those are terms that are set by
Right.
the
Well,
couple.
and especially like
you know.
is the robot like a 5'11" model
Right.
with like a hot smoking body while
Yeah.
I'm over here fucking blah, like
Well,
you
what
know
do you,
like
do you think it's going to be like a 85-year-old grandma that's like obese?
ew.
No, but it's the point
The-
of like what does it look like that you think like
That matters?
Well, yeah,
Of
because
course.
then like the fantasy,
Go
then
on.
then
I
if
wanna know.
they're
I want to know the logic behind this.
well, yeah, because then if they're having sex with the robot that looks way better than you, then like they're definitely cheating.
That's a totally.
I
that's
mean
like
they're
a.
definitely cheating regardless.
That's
Yeah.
like a insecure thing, though.
and if you're
Why does it matter if it's like you literally just said it makes a difference if it's a robot that looks hot and a robot that doesn't
Well,
look
yeah,
hot, but it
it-
still should be the
it
same
hurts-
thing.
it
it
hurts
hurts more.
Objectively.
Yeah, it hurts
Oh,
more.
okay.
It hurts more when the when
we
the
are
husband
going,
leaves
brother.
you for the hot younger model. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like
But
the
if the
same
husband
thing.
leaves you for like the 85-year-old grandma, you're like, good luck. Having
No,
fun.
even worse. That's like a bigger burn.
So there's no winning, is what you're
There's no
saying.
winning.
No.
What
Oh,
if say
man.
our terms, like that's not gonna fly.
Yeah, yeah.
Those are our terms. So.
I would never.
So you
I
would
need
fuck a
girl that's
robot?
down
though?
for robots.
No, but okay, so then I guess that's like then would you do you think that like your partner masturbating is like cheating?
It depends.
It depends how.
On
If I
What?
walk in on it, it's fair game.
Fair game, like
Like you get to join in now?
Yeah, whatever.
Okay, but what if they're jerking off but like not having sex with you?
That's a problem.
yeah, that's a problem
Is it
in
cheating?
itself.
No, it's not. I don't think it's cheating, but I think it's
That's
a problem.
That's just a relationship problem.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't necessarily like label it as cheating, but I would say like there's a problem. Like if I were here, that was going on. Like you guys got. a
Yeah,
problem.
why are we not being affectionate?
Yeah,
Okay.
this couple isn't being affectionate for whatever.
wouldn't label it
reason,
cheating either.
Yet he's or she prefers or he prefers this, so there has to be a disconnect somewhere,
Right.
Intimacy wise, I don't know if that's cheating because I think cheating is like with another person, however you want to do it, sexual or emotional, but person to person.
Seeking that relationship outside of your marriage or
Something,
your
yeah.
Okay.
Emotional or physical something,
Okay.
but masturbating I don't necessarily think is
Okay.
yeah.
Another hot take, if your friends dislike your partner, then they're probably right.
To an extent.
Yeah, it depends on which ones.
And what they're saying.
Depends
Yeah.
how old you are.
Okay.
Explain.
I mean, at my age,
Yeah.
if my friends didn't like my husband, that's their issue. That's their problem.
By now or a new guy though?
By now,
What about a new person?
I would think about it.
So it depends
But
to an extent. Kind of.
Or like if you're like 18 and your friends are like, "Oh my god, that guy's so bad for you." You're not going to listen to your friends. Obviously, you're 18.
Well, maybe at 18 you would,
I think at 18 you would.
but maybe
Yeah?
not today.
Okay.
Today it's more like it depends or why,
Okay.
kind of, right? I would
Yeah.
think. At least for me, it's like why, and then if they're valid, okay, well, fuck, they're valid. But if they're like more opinion, subjective, like
Which they would have to be. I mean,
it just depends. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, you have some friends that are overly opinionated.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then you have some friends that are a little bit more logical and have rationale.
Oh.
I think just going off of past experiences, anytime a majority of the guys or even my family, like my uncle would say something, whether I listened or not, it always ended up not working.
So if your family says like, "Hey, we don't like this person," then you think that they're right for the most part?
So far, they've been right.
Anecdotally, the data says yes.
Okay.
The
So
data
far.
says yes.
Okay.
For me.
Right.
What
okay, if somebody like your friend or your family was like, oh, it's because that girl did this, or we saw her with this other person, would you need proof, or would you just take their word for it?
Proof, like she was like doing, like she cheated on someone else already before type thing, or
Yeah.
like she's okay.
Well, I would want to have a conversation with her. I mean, I trust my family, but I don't think you just take what they say like as 100% factual, not having a conversation with the person and trying to figure out what their version of the story is. Like
Right.
there's always
So how would that conversation look, though? Would you just be like, my uncle told me that you cheated on your ex like this?
I would be like, give me your phone.
Why is it face down?
Unlock it right now. Why is it face down?
Oh fuck! I left.
I'm
mine
going
there.
through. I'm going through it right now.
That's funny.
No, that'd be a weird conversation, but I think you'd have to. There's no fluff around that conversation. You have to be direct. And I maybe I don't say my uncle's name. Maybe I just say I heard this, and is there any truth to it? And then I would try to put my lie detector goggles on.
I feel like if somebody came to me and told me exactly what you just said, and it wasn't true,
Was not.
I
true.
would walk away from that relationship.
That's the
like,
risk.
immediately.
And it wasn't true.
Right.
That's the risk. I think. That's
Wait, you'd walk away from the family relationship?
No, with that person.
With that
Like if
person.
you approach in this example, let's say Daniela was the girl receiving that. Hey, I heard that you may have done this, and it was completely off. She would just dismiss that whole relationship.
Oh, so like if I accused her of something because of what a
Yeah.
family member said and it wasn't true, then she'd just walk away.
If it was just totally wrong, then
Yeah.
she would walk. That I mean,
Yeah,
because then if you kept it to yourself, you would also have to like always wonder that too.
right.
But
Yeah, I think it depends on who's telling you and how much you trust them and the validity behind their words. Like you have, I'm sure everybody has family members where you're like,
right.
they're always saying wild shit, and then you have family members that they've always been honest with you and they would never try to sabotage you and they would always tell you what they felt, at least in their heart, was true.
'Cause in this example, the cheating thing, I'm not necessarily 100% on board with like the once a cheater, always a cheater thing. I think that there's a little bit of like growth people do too. So, but some people are very
I
like
believe that too.
very dead set on like, no, if they did it once, they could do it again. But also like, how old were they? Life experience.
I think
What was
that
the
plays
situation?
I think that plays a big part.
Right.
When you're
And
a
I
kid,
think
you
that
don't
there's
know.
a
Yeah.
I think that there's a
Life
difference between
experience.
like if you cheated on your boyfriend or girlfriend versus if you cheated on your spouse. Like you should
Some
have like
people
took
probably
a
don't,
vow.
though. Well, some people probably don't see it. That
Yeah.
way, I would imagine. I'm just.
I think age is a big one.
Yeah,
You learn
age.
so much with life,
Right.
and going through stuff.
But I mean, to me, like I just said, like you literally say like out loud in front of people when you're getting married, like this, you take an oath that this is the only person for the rest of your life. And so to me, after you said that, and then you turn around and cheat, then like
Yeah.
you're garbage. But
But there are people that get married super young that shouldn't be getting married.
no, for sure. But I do think that there is growth. You can, maybe have a cheating situation in a younger relationship, and then you can outgrow, the relationship or the behavior. So,
Some people can, and some people
yeah,
never outgrow
no.
it.
And then there's there's serial fuckboys, or
Because
like,
if someone came to me and said that about the girl that I was dating, I don't know if I would necessarily like approach her and just be like, hey, I heard you cheated on this random person. I don't know. I would just maybe keep an eye on behaviors. If things come off odd to me, then I'm going to kind of start moving closer to like, oh shit, these are starting to like line up
add
with what
up.
I heard.
Yeah.
Or if she's totally straight up the entire time, she's not giving me any weird feelings. You know what I mean? Like, then maybe she did do it, but she's not doing it now. So
I think that also plays, what you just said plays into what she said, because like with her example of if your family member said this,
yeah,
I think it depends on, are they talking about something that happened in the past before this woman even knew me?
yeah.
Or are they talking about something that happened currently that has happened since they've been with me?
Right.
And then how credible is that person?
Oh, yeah.
Like, all that factors into whether that conversation is going to be had or not.
Right.
Because to your point, it could be wrong and you can sully the entire relationship.
right.
But then you also have to, that is always on your mind potentially.
Right. What might not bother me might bother
Yeah.
you, or vice versa. So you might want those answers.
Yeah.
I'm just a little bit more.
So now,
like-
what would it? What if it was the opposite, where somebody came to you with that accusation and it wasn't true? How would you feel?
I mean, I'd feel upset, but I think
You wouldn't walk away.
I don't know. It depends. It depends on like who told them, why did they think that, what were the circumstances around this.
Right.
Like, there's a lot more that just goes into that.
If it's like my mom, and then my mom, even if it ends up like not being true, but my mom had that shred of doubt, you know what I mean? Like, if my mom doesn't like you, then like, you know what I mean? Or if I've talked shit to my mom about you, then I can't hang out with you anymore. You know what I mean? Like, if I told my mom, then it's done. Like, you know? So if my mom's coming to me and saying like, hey, I heard this about so-and-so, like, sure, I might like, depending on the person, like if
Right.
my mom said that about Mikhail, I'd probably like investigate, you know, but
Right, because like she's never said anything like that before. So if she said anything now, approaching 10 years, then that's odd. That's really like, why would she ever do that now? So maybe it is a little bit more heavily weighted than like a
Yeah,
one-off
no. At
thing,
this point, that would be.
right? So why would you've never said anything like that before? That's pretty jacked up. So let me ask them, like, what the fuck? But if we're brand new, it might be a little bit different.
right. I don't know. Once I like talk shit about you to either Mikhail or to my mom, then like I can't hang out with you anymore.
Fair enough.
Okay, so next one, staying together for the kids often teaches them the wrong lesson about love.
Absolutely.
I don't even have kids, and I'm not married, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think a healthy relationship is a priority. Like the way
Right.
you, mom and dad are, is what is like the most important thing, especially around your kids. I personally.
Right. I mean, I think that, yeah, because if you're staying together for the kids, I think that you can make the conscious decision to then just co-parent peacefully. You know what I mean? Like, why be miserable for your kids or to, you know, not live authentically if,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Well,
So,
and like Daniela mentioned earlier, what example are you setting for the kids? And you're repeating the cycles
right.
of trauma.
Especially if it's
that they're going to now grow
yeah,
up and
if
do,
it's-
probably reciprocate or do the same thing.
right. If it's a bad situation and or volatile, toxic, whatever situation, then of course, yeah, definitely move on. You know, there's maybe rare scenarios where, you know, people can be friends,
Sure.
you know, going forward. But yeah. This kind of, we're going more into like the kid stuff. If you don't parent as a team, your kids will learn to play you,
Sure. Yeah.
Kids are so smart.
right?
Has that ever happened to you guys?
No, I don't think so. I think we've always made it a point to like support each other in that moment. Even if we disagree, we'll like talk about it later, or at least we try. But I don't think the kids have found that loophole yet.
Yeah.
I think we do. We'll get caught with little ones. Like the kids will ask for like a treat, and we'll just kind of be like, "Hey, mom said it was okay," and then come to find out they never even asked mom. So
Or I straight up said
Sneaky.
no, or, you know, like things like that. But for the most part, if it's like discipline or, you know, we
Serious stuff, yeah.
collaborate on like doing fun stuff, even it's not just like
Yeah.
me deciding this is what we're going to do with the kids. Like we collaborate on everything.
Right.
You have discussions of what we think the best route of punishment or, you know, what we want to do for their birthday parties
especially
or
the
whatever.
punishment stuff. That stuff is so hard to like have a like exact solution for, because you don't know if what you're about to do is gonna work or be effective, or like, you know what I mean? You're just doing more harm than good. So it's kind of that one's always a hard. I always kind of got to take a few minutes to kind of like sit down and think about what I'm about to do and like how I'm about to explain it, and hope that it sticks. And then if it doesn't, I gave it my best shot. I made the best decision that I thought in the moment instead of doing something off of an emotion in the moment.
Yeah.
So it's kind of tough. So like the last example was on our last episode, we caught Juju and Elias watching inappropriate videos on YouTube. And I want this, and this wasn't necessarily the first time, but there had been like a long time in between there. And so it was a repeat offense. It was something that I didn't necessarily want to totally shame them on per se, because I understand like they're
Just
figuring out that they're
exploring, yeah.
attracted to things. They just don't understand like appropriateness of these things. So I don't necessarily want to like shatter that and then make them forever like awkward in that, but I also want it to be known like this, the way you're doing it is wrong. This is not okay. Right. So balancing all those things at once while talking to a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old is kind of like, and then an 8-year-old on the spectrum. It's kind of like
Who doesn't understand?
certain concepts sometimes. So it's kind of like an extra curveball in there, but for the most part, it was just a simple like explanation with a timeout punishment and a removal of the devices that they were watching them on. And that's pretty much like the explanation to me was, I'm hoping the most important part, and then the devices being removed as a result of what they did.
Just
So,
removing the whole.
yeah, and the timeout, you have to do the time, quote unquote, just because they don't like it.
Yeah.
So they're
You gotta do the time.
You're
Sound
receiving
like prisoners, man.
Yeah, dude.
You
That's
gotta
just-
do the time.
Well, we don't do physical punishment,
yeah.
Do you not believe in corporal punishment?
like spanking or hitting.
Yeah.
I don't.
I mean, not hitting. I mean that's like beating your child. I would say spanking.
Like
No.
like a spanking, like
Yeah.
a traditional, just regular spanking. I don't think I do. Like, I can see in some circumstances where like you can kind of like, I don't know. I don't want to say like hit them, but I want to say that overall, I think they do more harm than good. I think it's just so easy to like go like it's more harm than good. That I don't think it's worth just doing it. But I like, for me, I received spankings, and I don't necessarily like think they were the worst thing. If anything, they were effective in me being fearful of doing things because I don't want to get spanked. But I never walked away thinking that like, fuck, my mom doesn't love me. But she also, and I pointed this out to Lindsay, she always made it a point to like, after we had that, circle back to me and, hug me, kiss, whatever. I still love you. I just don't want you to X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. So then I always was just like, oh, okay, awesome.
Right.
I just think that spankings have to be done correctly, right? It can't be your go-to for everything. I think,
Sure.
like you said, you have to have you have to have conversations with your kids.
Right.
Those like uncomfortable conversations need to happen. They need to understand what they did wrong.
Right.
You can't just spank them. But I do think that there is certain circumstances that may require that level of punishment, but it should be done like with the intention of like, I'm only gonna do it once because you're like,
Right.
this should keep you from ever doing
Ever.
this again.
Right.
It shouldn't be like, I spank you so much that it doesn't even hurt you anymore, and like we're in this vicious cycle
Right.
now.
Right. It's like delicate. It's a very delicate thing. So it's like, especially for me being a bigger guy, it's like, I'd rather just not do that. You know what I mean? So it's kind of,
And with Elias
Tough.
being on the spectrum, like it
yeah.
really like it doesn't mean anything to him. Like to him, he's just
Well,
getting
it just might not be as effective.
Yeah.
But like I always said, I thought it was effective like with me growing
Yeah.
up. So I'm totally against it. I just don't know if I am capable of being delicate enough with the whole. I just see so much room for error for me that I would rather just not.
And then for
I'll
me,
just avoid
I
it.
grew up in that cycle of just being spanked for anything and everything, and not even by my own parents.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That I don't believe in spank. Like I can't bring myself to do that.
So no corporal punishment. for you.
None.
You
Like
got spanked by people that weren't your parents?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like aunts and uncles?
no, like by like stepdads or like
Oh.
Yeah, that's,
yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what also it depends, right? With Daniela, that's a step. With Santiago, if that ever happened, I think that's also probably maybe a different relationship. Obviously, a lot of your steps were like temporary, like.
Yeah.
But I guess I could see it work because they see him as dad, or he sees him as dad. That's dad. So yeah, I can see how that can be fine. Again, delicate, I guess. It's just
Yeah.
all super delicate. I think it just depends
I
on
think-
context.
I think when it comes to punishment, it's hard, right? Because we have this tendency of like we get upset and we're like, oh, you're never gonna watch TV again, and like that's not realistic,
Exactly.
right? But for a kid, you're like telling them something, and then 30 minutes later, you're like, go watch TV.
Exactly.
So it comes to like this very like weird place where like we need to take a minute, take a deep breath, and understand how we're going to punish our kids, and then kind of move to that punishment with like the right stuff. I was just telling you guys about, Santiago's punishment, and like his punishment was just that, his punishment, right? He's as silly as it sounds, he's not allowed in his room
Right.
because we don't know what he has in his room. And
Did you like go through his stuff?
we'll do it eventually, but I wanna do it in a point where the girls are not home, because I don't want this to be something that like then they go and share.
You got to be like tactful about being a parent sometimes.
So the girls
like-
know that he's in trouble. They obviously don't know why, and they don't know for how long. And so he's not allowed in his room, and he doesn't have any electronics. But I think the hardest part has been the like trust rebuild, right? Because like I have never heard a parent say this, but like my kid broke my heart. And normally when somebody hurts me or breaks me, I like get away from them. I keep them
But
at
it's
an
your
arm's
kid.
length,
You can't.
or I
Yeah.
cut them off completely. But this is my 14-year-old, right? So like how do I navigate this relationship now?
You beat that ass. No, I'm just kidding.
Corporal punishment.
So I actually, funny enough, I just had a conversation with him like last Tuesday. I would say more of a monologue because I did all the talking and he just stared at me. But
More of a monologue.
I essentially told him like, dude, today was a really hard day for me because I am struggling with I love you so much, yet I don't trust you. And I don't know how, like these feelings don't make sense to me, right?
Yeah.
I don't know where to go from here. So today was a really hard day and I just don't trust you. Like this morning you did this, and that. And like in my head, I was thinking of all the things you were going to go to school and do that you weren't supposed to. And like, I just literally saw him like deflate. And I wasn't trying to shame him. I wasn't bringing things up, but it was just like, these are my feelings and I'm entitled to them.
Yeah.
And so I think that's like, a conversation that people don't have. Like I've never heard a parent
that's
say like, how do you recover
Right.
from this?
I mean, I've had the conversation from my parents of like, we're disappointed, and like that thing of like, oh,
We're not mad.
yeah, we're
We're
like
just disappointed.
the choices
no,
that
I was
you're
pissed.
right. The choices that you're making are not a reflection of like what we've instilled in you or like what we expect from you. Like we know that you're better than that, and like explaining that of like you're better than that and being like, well, fuck, you're right. You know what I mean? Like that always got to me of like,
Right.
if I did something wrong, but
I think it's super effective because I think like knowing that it was at one point like just you and Santiago or you two, I think that there's like an extra like I don't want to let this person feel this way
Right.
anymore. So
I mean, just
even
like-
though he wasn't answering, I think that it's absorbing. He
Yeah.
just can't show you yet because he's not emotionally mature enough to tell you he's absorbing it. But I think you guys being as upset as you are, especially disappointed, and then being able to articulate that to him, I think that's gonna go a long way.
That's like
Personally, in my opinion, personally.
the text message after we saw the video of the dog pulling you and him, like, he came out and like helped you and asked you, like, are you okay? Like, he has a good heart, and you know, he just, I think he was bored. He's bored and he just needed.
Yeah.
I think that's the scary part, right? Like, he is so smart. And like I told him, like imagine all the good things you could do if you were using those skills and talents for good.
Right.
And that's kind of what's scary, right? Because I've heard other parents of like teenagers complain of like, oh, he doesn't clean the room, or they don't do this, or they don't do that, and I'm like, yeah, I can't share what he did, but I can tell you with like.
So I was gonna ask you that because I mean, Santiago has, you know, a good example at home. He's very involved in the church, right? Like all those are positives for him. But there's an aspect that you don't have control over and you don't know anything about, which is the external influences. Like, how do you, especially right after this type of incident, how do you navigate that? Like, what are you and Eddie doing? Because that has to be something that's always on your mind.
A lot of prayer and a lot of surrendering.
Yeah.
There's really nothing else I can do, right? And Tuesday that I had a really bad day, I was also like fighting those feelings because we've prayed a lot about it. We've prayed for him. We prayed with him. We've prayed alone. We've prayed together. But also, like, within the prayer, I also have to let go of the control, let go and surrender. Because if I keep holding on to it, he's gonna, like, that aspect of his life is gonna consume my life. And I have two other ones that need me and need me present. So I cannot continue to hold on to it so tight that I lose sight of everything else. And so constant reminder that, like, this is not mine and I have to put it down. And I think one of the biggest learning things for me over this time is this is not my fault. Right? As a parent, I think if I was not in the faith and I was somewhere else in my life, if this would have happened a year ago, I would have came up with a list of 30 things I did wrong that led to him doing this. But because of where I am at now, I can say, like, I am doing my best and giving you the best of me and of Dad. And you, at the end of the day, made choices and decisions that led to that. It is not my fault. I can only show you the right way and hope that you walk in it. But at the end of the day, you are a person capable of making your decisions.
Yeah. It's a really, really
He's
introspective way to look at
old
it.
enough for sure to make those decisions.
Yeah.
And yeah.
He's learning at a young age that we are a product of our choices.
Is there advice you would leave someone who would come across, I don't know, a similar situation where they just, I don't know. I guess, do you walk away like kind of having some sort of like advice for people who may experience the same in the future with their kids coming across something like this?
Homeschool.
I'm
joking.
No, I would never homeschool.
Whether it's like, hey, don't be afraid to like dig in their stuff or
I just think
follow your intuition type stuff.
I just think follow your intuition is definitely it. Like, if there is something that feels off, there probably is something off. It might be small, it might be big, who knows? But also, like, understanding that you cannot be there with them 100% of the time. So you can only give them a firm foundation to stand on.
Right.
And, you know, continue to, like, guide them in the right path. It's not like a one-time thing. You have to continuously work with them. I think one thing that I read in a book that kind of like stuck with me is our kids are being discipled every day by just their surrounding life, right? Are we okay with what they're being discipled on, or do we need to pull in more control and bring in more of what we believe is best for them. And so I think with that said, I have kind of leaned in a lot into that idea of like, okay, I'm going to show you the right way. I'm going to show you more of what I want you to grow up with what I want you to grow into, instead of just letting YouTube disciple you.
Yeah. Fair.
Yeah. Social media.
I like that. Like, if you guys are okay with it, I like that with like lasting words, I guess.
Yeah. That's I was it's funny you say that. I was like, damn, that's a good,
I don't-
that's a
yeah,
good
I
way
don't-
to end right
yeah,
there.
I prefer that being like the
That was deep.
final message.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Perfect. Well, thank you.
I just
Daniela.
live here.
Yeah. Thank you, Daniela, for coming in, guest hosting for us today.
Fun.
You did amazing. Hopefully, we'll have future ones with you, and hopefully, you and Eddie can do a.
I wanted to plan something where we're kind of doing like a game night where it's kind of like a bonus episode, like how they did the boys, but like, you know,
Everybody.
all, you know, whoever wants to come find a game to play or whatever. You know, my initial thought was Cards Against Humanity just because it can get so crazy, but you know, find a game that we can kind of play and just have a good time with. And so,
Let's do it.
yeah.
Set
That
that up.
sounds fun.
But yeah, we'll get a future episode. You and Eddie both. I think that'd be awesome. And yeah, thank you to everybody who listened to this episode today. I think we had a great episode. And remember, if you want to continue to watch us, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Spotify and Apple Music. We post episodes every 2 weeks. We'll have reels and clips posted in between to highlight certain points of our previous episode. And thank you. We appreciate all you guys, every subscriber, every listener, any feedback, any comment, any like. We love to see it. And thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
With that
Love
said,
you guys.
Bye.
catch you on the next one.